will be pro-America, even if he's against what they're doing. It's I'm always till the day I die gonna sound pro-America, right? You can't if I try to hide that, then it would be like snaking myself. It would be fake. So I have to really hammer in the points of clarity here because remember, if you've got a big like there's been a lot of kick streamers and Twitch guys, there's been a lot of people who have had a little bit of a clout buzz and then they go away forever and they never get popping. I'm not talking about those people. I'm talking about people who actually got a shit ton of Twitter followers, not Minecraft, not some gay ass who people who leave their dent on the world where huge groups of people, I'm talking about over hundreds of thousands of people listen to Zherka speak, meaning I am affecting them even if they're not conscious of it, meaning that I could suffer a lot more severely. And forget suffering, we're all going to suffer in certain ways. But there's something worse than suffering it's delaying your evolution. For example, if Zherka was ever pro war when he was at that age that he mentioned in grade 4, grade 5, where Bush is doing this, and I was on funnyjunk.com and all the good old days stuff, and my older brother was showing me Red Hot Chili Peppers and back then, it was like Dragon Force. Dun, 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 dun. You know, Dragon Force. What else was it? Bunch of TV shows, right? The main one, Dragon Ball. And if you don't know what Dragon Ball is, it's the archetypal energies, right? That are linked to the gods, even though it's not the gods of ancient pagan times. So, they push out. Well, now you guys have Marvel, which is so depressing if you grew up with Marvel. Like, there's whole, let's say, last 10 years, you grew up with that stuff, right? You're a teenager watching. I know a lot of people talk to me about Infinity War and stuff. These are the worst movies of all time, by the way. And I'm a super American kind of guy. My blood is American. Everything about me is America. I don't even think of other countries. I don't give a fuck about them. I only care for the most evolved because I am the most evolved. So I walk with the evolved. And, that's cruel to say to billions of people on earth that it's like, dude, Zerka, you should love these, what Scorsese calls them theme park movies. You should love these theme park movies. Like Marvel. Marvel's so American. It's got Captain America. And it's really not. Marvel is it makes people weak. And if you don't know what I mean by this, is okay, look at the generation that grew up on Marvel. You guys make fun of them for being the American generation of all time. We all look up towards Zoomers because they're gonna inherit this AI legacy. But in reality, we make fun of Zoomers the most. Like as much as we make fun of millennials for being cringe, right? And by I mean very almost introverted in a weird way, especially compared to the boomers. It seems like every generation's like locking themselves up more in their room, in their ego consciousness, like I talk about, right? The soul examination that I try and drill in your head. So every day of your life, you go, oh, wow, reality is fun. Zerka's right. I am entering higher levels of loneliness because of ego consciousness. It's not a horrible thing. He's right. The soul is evolving this way. Of course I'm right. But yeah, if you look at these generation that grew up with Infinity War and Avengers, I guess I am with I think I was in grade 10 when the first Avengers movie came out. In Metalworks, I heard about it, Mr. Keneally's class, and I just remember thinking like, oh, this is the best cinema has to offer. But man, was I fucking wrong? Because I think 2013 Wolf of Wall Street came out. Maybe I'm wrong. 2012, 2013. And that movie blew me away. Scorsese flick, like true American movie, like the most American film. Well, maybe it was about the '80s and Jordan Belfort and Wolf of Wall Street and all that. It was about all that, but there was so much more to it. It was like pointing to the future with the Quaaludes and the drug culture and what it's going to evolve to into the Adderall culture, where people stop the painkillers to become more efficient machines and the coke and all that. So to me, the most American movie of all time is like Wolf of Wall Street for the newer ones. I consider that like a new movie, believe it or not, because nothing really came out after that. To me, that's an American legendary flick, right? Where when you watch it, you just know not only did all of it all of it happened like they said it did, it was less extreme than the real version, right? Than the book, than whatever. And I remember being so innocent, so pure first watching that movie. And I never said this on a call or podcast or anything, but I should have, because I'm like, that movie had such a huge impact. There's a lot of memes that liberal women and feminists would say, he's a red flag if he enjoyed the Wolf of Wall Street movie. And it's like, dude, that movie shaped my mind. It was like, everything I watched in that movie, it was with me and my like 8 of my buddies in a rec room. We watched it at my buddy's rec room. And we're not like the cool kids, but we were watching the cool kids in the movie, in The Wolf of Wall Street. They got the money, the toys, all that. And I remember that movie, just my pupils were dilated. Like my eyes were ripping out of my skull compared to my buddies. I was the only one hyper fixated on this movie where the American spirit is pushing through the television right into my soul, where everything that I never experienced, I didn't even get 1% of it. Or maybe my buddies got 5% of it or whatever, partying and stuff, but I didn't get any of it. I was very just into my own gaming world, and I had a I had a bad boy streak that was coming on me, but I'd suppress it. And so when I watched this movie activated evils in me. Now that I look back, I don't know about evil. I took it to the evil realm, but it activated something in my soul. It was so fucking powerful. Like Scorsese's so good at doing whatever the fuck he does. Like all of his movies are so good. And that led me to become like this John fucking Zherka type. What is that? It feels so foreign. Like people want to say, oh, that's the real me. That's the dude. That thing has wings. That thing flew out of my heart. That thing was so awesome that I forgot who I was for a bit. I'm like, whoa. And it's also a part of me, whatever that is. And it's linked to this American energy. So every tweet I ever make, even when I critique the US, it's always going to be from an angle of supporting the US, because my whole destiny is shaped with this country. I'm going to die with this country. This country not only did it do all of this for me, it then, like the nails on the coffin is that I go to US for a week, and then international level dreams are coming true for me, and in a way where you could see on my face with the shades on that I knew this is coming to me. I knew that I'm never working a day in my life again. I'm doing other things with my life. You guys have to work. You are not the Americans. You are Americans on passport, on citizenship, but you are not an American in the fact that you're a rock star. You don't own a shotgun, a big house, and nothing. You don't own your own fucking car. You're poor. You're broke. There's nothing American about you, right? What they say, like 1 in 5 Americans is a millionaire or whatever they say. You're nothing. You're none of that. And I only count the successful ones, really, because a low level American, I will never count a low level incarnation. It's like, bro, if you're unsuccessful and your incarnation is to be successful, no wonder you have a fucking neurotic problems and you hate your fucking life. It's like you have all the tools and energy to do it. You're in the right place to do it and you don't do it. I walk around in LA and I go, why is everyone such a fucking broke loser? I've been here for a week. Like, this shit's easy. This shit is easy because people are like, well, Zergo, you suffered so much. So how do you give it to the US? All that suffering had to be transmuted. And I'm like, the reason I don't talk about my suffering is, who the fuck hasn't? You think those guys at the fucking LA Fitness and that fucking club out there and everyone on the street, you think Zerka's the only one who suffered, therefore he goes up? Are you? Everyone in this call has suffered. You're not supposed to calculate suffering like, well, actually, Zerka suffered the most. That's why he went up, which is probably true, right? There's a lot of you guys who just play frisbee at the park, don't suffer much, never pop off in life. You're never successful in life. And it's like, yeah, you're having fun. How the fuck are you going to be successful if you're having fun? You haven't transmuted any pain. A lot of that doesn't happen. Then there's other people like Tommy Innit and Minecraft guys who make millions and millions of dollars and are depressed in their room playing Minecraft. That's like a much worse prison. So you should never see it this way or that way. But to think Zerka is not going to tweet about the US in a positive way is fucking lunacy. And it's so hard to tweet in a positive way. I mean, it's easy, it comes out of me, but it's so tough to speak the way I speak on calls or spaces because I don't want to confuse someone. I don't want your souls being, you might have zero American energy to you, right? And remember, there's guys in Afghanistan who are just love everything about America. They know a lot about it. They're on YouTube too. So I'm not saying that you have to be from there. I'm saying this is a spirit you're linked to. And if you're linked to the spirit, then chances are you're like me. You see Trump fucking lasering Iran out the fucking sky. And I'm not talking about easily. I'm talking about so ferociously. So much more powerful than what anyone else expected. More powerful than I think the military expected. I mean, this is it unless there was nukes, it couldn't have gone better. And I'm talking about like this is no Bush. This is a Trump presidency. And it seems like Trump, the only way he wants to get this done, start off this World War III is if he gets the first perfect blitzkrieg. And I'm talking about not only is this a perfect big blitzkrieg, but even Hitler would say this is better than his. Why? I would never, ever go against the chancellor. But why am I saying that? Is because in the age of this level technology, there's no way it should have been that fucking easy. And when I say that Muslims, no matter where they're from, are at a lower level of consciousness. Doesn't mean they're worth less. Doesn't mean their soul is worth less to God. It means they don't have the fucking technology to fight Atlantis. The shit that I've been telling you about for years. I've been telling you, US is Atlantis. It's being revived slowly. And I'm telling you, this is US could fucking rocket Russia, China, Iran at the same time and they'd win easily. Easily win. I've been saying this for 7 years. No one believed me. And I didn't even want to be right. I don't want to see this shit on TV, right? No way. If you support the Christian mysteries, you are anti-war no matter what. But man, was I right, then you guys wrong. Haas is a fucking idiot. I talked to Haas. He was so embarrassed. He was so embarrassed in the DMs. I felt bad for him. It was like I was bullying him. I was like giving him advice to live too. I was like, enough. Enough the tanky cope, the delusions. You saw what happened. Russia didn't step in. They're cowards. China didn't do shit. I'm not a hater of other people, but man, did those fucking tankies lie to everyone. They kept lying and gassing. Zherka, what do you know? You barely pay attention to this stuff. And I'm like, I know technology. You're never going to touch the white man. Not you Asiatic whites like Putin with your weird looking faces. You will never touch the white man. You will never get close to the white man. The white man is leading the world into the future. Your people are pushing it to the past. And yes, the red pill guy who shits on women wants women to be liberated and free. They want to put women in burqas and don't want to evolve. Well, it's in your scripture and it's in your and the whole church talks about the evolution of consciousness. You fucking idiot. They don't stay in the past. They talk to any of the popes. You fucking monkey. The fuck are you talking about? Now, am I a war hawk that I wanted Iran to get fucking hit? Fuck no. I'm anti-war because I know what that does to my soul. I know, I've known since a child. I even before I knew, I had a feeling. I had a feeling that hey, your thoughts are not in private. They're joining the world thoughts. They're getting mixed up there. You know, you want to be responsible for your thought forms. I always knew since a child. But let me start this space off by saying I feel bad for you fucking tankies that went to Haas and Jackson Hinkle. And you guys were like, well, Zerko, we love you, but we can't stay with you because you're too what? I'm too right. You guys turned out to be the greatest gaslighting idiots on the. You guys told us Russia and China would get involved. They did nothing, and that was an irregular attack. That is worse than a hot war. There's nothing worse you could have done to a nation, bro. When I say the world is not ready for Atlantis, the Atlantean powers, America. I've been saying this for 7 years that the US can beat the world and win. And people are like, you're saying that as a NATO fanboy. You're saying it. No, I'm not. And I'm not a NATO fanboy. I call Europe all the time. Right? As far as I'm concerned, NATO is the US. I don't look at fucking, you think I give a fuck about France and Italy? Are you not just this incarnation that's always been pro Atlantis and Atlantean powers, man? I'm telling you right now, you cannot be a civilization of higher consciousness, believe it or not, which is the American. That's why they have the freedom impulse. Do you think they're going to sit around and let you kill motorcycle riding women just because they didn't wear a hijab? Did you really think Iran's going to get away with that regime forever? And this does sound like Jew dog language because we know Israel pushed US to do this, but there's something that Nick doesn't know. There's something that none of you knows is that there's also a freedom impulse to evolve. It's not just the Jews. Yes, the Jews are, they got their fingers in all this, and you don't want to go to another Middle Eastern Jew war. Yeah, you want to be against all this, especially on Twitter, where you're making a big impact, right? Like, retweet, all that. But you got to remember that even if Israel didn't exist, you, humans cannot remain at lower levels of consciousness for too long. For example, Iranian women cannot be suppressed for that long until a higher level consciousness, a higher level soul, like the white man, says that's enough. And it doesn't sound like the white man is doing it for the women at all. It sounds like it's imperialism, but behind the impulses, behind the spirituality that corresponds with all this, behind all that are impulses of freedom, where the women are saying we want to be free, and telepathically the rest of the world joins in. Now, does that mean Israel is not fucking bloodthirsty? Oh, dude, they are. They are very bloodthirsty. They are doing it all for the wrong reasons. But let me tell you, even if they weren't involved, this would have happened. Oh, yeah, it just would have happened maybe 30 years from now. They're making it, they're forcing the US's hand. This is the most evil shit you can do, right? A lot of people are saying, oh, it's because the Epstein files. It's not because of the Epstein files, you fucking monkeys. They've been, General Wesley Clark was talking about this like 20 fucking years. They've been talking about this forever. This is the final country, too. And so we've been just waiting this. We've been waiting for it. And when I pointed to you guys and said, hey, Netanyahu is evil, this is what's going to happen. The reason I knew this would happen under the Trump presidency is because Trump is the Jew dog. He is not he's not a little bit of a Zionist. He's trying to beat his predecessors. It's like who can suck off Israel the hardest, right? So yeah, Nick was 100% correct by not voting for Trump. And I remember thinking, I'm like, oh, it's going to look stupid. It's going to look stupid. But would it look? If Netanyahu gets away with murdering all those children in Palestine, there's no way that could happen, right? There's no way because this is the first time it was digitally broadcasted to the world that accurately. So I was banking on there's too much pressure for Trump to do this, it might be a president after Trump. Boy, was I wrong. Holy shit, his first year and he rockets the fuck out of the last puzzle piece. And I remember thinking to myself, like, damn, that stings. Because remember, we put him in power. It's a part of our karmic stream, even though he came into power saying, what did he keep saying to us? No new wars. I will be a peacetime president. There will not be a new war. So not only did Trump snake the fuck out of us, he snaked us so quickly, so bold faced that you don't realize what you and your loved ones have to suffer through. And the suffering part, as bad as it is, there's more to it. How much your soul is going to be delayed on evolution now. Yes, one man takes the whole people's will and then he, forces his own. And, because you guys all voted, we all vote, we're all pro Trump. He forces us, down that spiral. And, a lot of you guys are DMing me saying, okay, in the esoteric, explain how do I get out of this? And it's like, you don't. You don't. Bad things are going to start happening to you, very bad things, and it's not something you can get out of. You can't. If there was a magic trick, if there was a ritual, I would tell you there's nothing you can do. There's no one you can pray to because you voted him in, just like I voted him in. I said, hey, this is the no wartime president. We're not going to trust these Democrats. They're just as fucking bloodthirsty as the neocons. At least Trump stood up to the neocons during the election. It's a promising thing there. And no, who the fuck would have guessed? Nick is so smart for this that he said, no, I'm going to go with the fact that, Trump's a lot more bold than you think. And that instinct, remember, you could say, oh, Nick just got it right because stop coping. He got it right. while weighing the options of, wait a minute, Netanyahu, who murdered all those children on camera, is going to get away with a World War III. And he is. He's getting away with it. You know, it's mind blowing that everyone just forgot, like everyone on Twitter. And even my language is so fucking anti these primitive goat fuckers, right? I don't support that at all. I don't want that linked to me at all. But man, look at the support. First of all, it's a confused subject because Iranians on the street are dancing. Anyone who tells you they're not is a fucking monkey. Don't you have Persian friends? They're dancing on the streets of every city on earth, not just Iran. And they're doing it without their hijabs. And if you've ever spoken to Persian people, I've met a lot, they cannot stand Islam. And when I say all this bloodshed has to do with Islam, it's not just Trump. I'm correct. It has a lot to do with this primitive, backwards culture where it's like, dude, if you're not evolving for 60 years, what are you doing? Even a bloodthirsty Israel can party with, okay? If your country can party with the gays, right? If it welcomes the gays, like, hey, then it's more evolved, period, point blank. I don't care what you say. I don't care what you, well, Zherka, but you're anti-Jew and blah, blah, blah. I'm giving it to you from a Christian perspective it is about evolution. That's why time marches forward, right? You have to see the whole picture. And you can't just say, oh, Jew this, Jew that. The Jews made me do this. First of all, as much as you want to blame the Jews, it's also the regime that is primitive. Okay? Consciousness will not keep evolving unless everyone's going up together. That's why you feel a need to liberate piece of shit regimes. That's why even if Israel and Jews didn't exist and they didn't force us into this karmic stream, which is evil, I don't know, they think they rule the world. The Goyim can just get forced into disgusting karmas. It is evil what they're doing. But even if they didn't exist, that regime wouldn't have stayed. I guarantee you. It might have took 20 more years. It might have took whatever. It would have been a different thing. But this is just basically spirits move through the air and drive impulses to larger nations to move into weaker ones to get them to evolve. And this is how bloodshed is spilled because nobody wants to evolve. They want to protect their own land. Can you just walk in there and make everyone evolve? No. Bloodshed is that's how it works. Like humans will always fight for their own land. So it's not like not a perfect system. And even in genius Atlantean times, there's the Atlantean disaster. Like even in the genius times, people can fall off and they're more spiritually inclined, way more like metaphysical superpowers back then, and they still brought the great flood. So imagine these fucking monkeys. And I'm just here to remind you guys that it's like just because you're being forced by Jew dogs and Trump to go down this karmic rabbit hole doesn't mean you have to go as down as everyone else. Though there's some people who are going to be pulled all the way down, and I don't recommend that. Um, and remember, all world wars is a bunch of unconscious people being, given, their intellect is absorbed by the leader, and then he tells them go fight here, and unconscious people kill unconscious people, and there's nothing you can do about it. Actually, you'll be activated as an unconscious soul too, and you'll be activated in the negative direction, and you will do what they say, and some of you might even fucking die. Who knows how crazy it gets. But this is the part where you actually fight for more consciousness. This is the part where you say, I'm going to use my Twitter, use my platform, use everything to be anti war as the first posture. Everything else will make sense after I am fulfilling the Christian mysteries. There are very few times in history you can be anti war, right? I mean, you're given a huge chance right now. And a lot of you guys are like, and it's like, bro, I'm with you. I get it that they're primitive. But in 10 years, you don't want to be those, like those guys who are like, here's $10,000. I need to talk to you. My life is this. And I'm like, bro, I'm not here to listen to your fucking karmic garbage for the last 10 years of what happened to you. I don't give a fuck about how much money. You think I'm going to link to that for some money? All right. I don't want these kind of emails. Just protect your own soul and protect your family's souls. Be anti war. You could be pro America and anti war very easily, like me. Should you fall for the trap that Sneeko and all these guys are like giving you the truth? These people want you out of power. There's the Islamic truth. Okay, not the turn any of you into Zionists, but look, just because you're going to be anti-war doesn't mean you have to join and their jihad. Those people are unconscious too. They're gonna try and pull you in that way. And this is how it works, right? So always have your own side. Your side is not with me. It's not with Nick. It's with the Christ. What does the Christ want you to do? Do you notice how me and Nick are anti-war, right? You notice how Myron is anti-war. The free speech channels who believe in the freedom impulse are anti-war. Put the fucking pieces together. If there's a couple free speech channels, there's a couple of them. You could say Sneako's a free speech channel because he spoke about the Jews. Oh wow, we got him to speak about but he's actually an Islamic channel, right? And Zherka's not promoting a fucking a Christian whatever, right? I'm saying look into your heart. It'll be very easy to decide there. Go inward and realize you don't want to be stripped of your soul freedom. Your soul says no to war. So just remember that's your posture throughout any of these. And there are wars that you have to fight. If they come to your fucking doorstep, that's a different thing. This is not that thing. And what else did I want to add? Right. So tankies, everyone was wrong, right? Everyone you trusted was wrong. I was right. Even though that fucking Albert Pike quote, they say it's a fake letter, but I was right too. I still put it. I think it's 2018 I first said it. In 2023, I really hammered it in that the final war will be against the Zionists. And I mean, Wesley Clark could have told you this. And everyone knew this. This is coming. Now, what else do you do after you're anti-war? Once your posture is anti-war, what do you do? There's nothing you can do, right? Then everything unfolds how it unfolds, and you must remain conscious around your buddies where everyone's arguing like a chicken with their heads cut off, and you're smiling and you're calm because yes, you can smile in times of war. You can watch the unconscious chickens with their heads cut off running around. And you just have to understand that there's an individual power to consciousness. Focus on that power and make sure you remain. You remain, just put in your head that politics is jester. You remain who you are throughout this, and you'll see much evolution. You'll see huge steps in consciousness where, hey, wait a minute. I didn't get sucked up into it's really easy to get sucked up into the memes. The memes are awesome. They make US look like badass as fuck, right? But the memes, you got to remember, are generated not by humans, but by spirits and mischievous things in the ether, in the air. They're not your ideas. So you got to remember, yeah, you can play with it and stuff like that, but make sure you have a strong anti-war posture. You don't want to be remembered as 10 years from now that was pro-war and then something horrific happens to you and you become the thing Zherka channel reacts to. And I go, oh, look at this. A lot of people are like, whoa, how do you keep predicting karmas? I'm like, I'm not predicting karmas. I'm telling you how they get balanced out. And you'll see a gold medalist win gold and then they lose their grandmother. And it's such, I'm giving you a theme of how the world unfolds, how your life will unfold. And you have to keep going back to the middle of the Christ force in everything you do. This is something that has to be repeated and whipped into you. And without listening to my spaces, you should just know if you get emotional and go, I'm on this team, I'm on that team. It's like, no, you're on team Christ, okay? The Christ force in the middle, not the upwards Christ force where these Christians just pray to the sky and hope something happens. The inward force that it's like the effort you have in your inward activity is what shows in the world. And your inward activity should be peaceful, right? And it's really hard because, right before all this happened, I really went off on these Muslims because I can't stand them. They're anti freedom, they're anti everything. A lot of these people are deeply unconscious. Does that mean I'm getting dog walked? No. You got to remember that bloodthirsty look in the eye of the Muslim is within the eye of the Jewish man as well. Make no mistake about that. They want to kill each other. Neither of them are peaceful. They want to bring the Christians to their death, both of them. Okay, it's in their fucking books. And remember, Christians listening, there is no reason you should let memes dictate your karmic outcome, right? There is no reason you should be a war channel or any of these. And a lot of you guys message me later and say, dude, you really saved my ass here. Dude, I'm retired. This is not my job to fucking go on spaces, interrupt my life to do this for you guys. This is really not my job. And I can't even do it for you. It's inward activity. It has to come from within you. Um, Now, with that being said, was it badass that US could do this? I've been saying to these stupid fucking tankies how powerful the US actually is. It's a technology game. There's China could build as many LED towers as they want. Their technology, Russia's technology, Iran's technology is not up to par with Atlantean technology. It never will be for the next 250 years. The only time we'll ever see maybe a close in the gap will be when all of that energy in China and all those resources start getting dominated by the white man that is in Russia, if you want to consider them white. I guess they're by DNA white, but not exactly what we consider white. And so it's like, yeah, in 250 years, you can see Russians carrying the impulse with all that Chinese tech around them. But that's a long time away, bro. And yes, the top dog is usually doing it to evolve consciousness. That's how it works. Um, can I say whether it's a good or a bad thing? No, you're not supposed to make moral judgments. The only safe thing you can do in navigating the cosmos is be anti-war, right? Just like every time something pops off, we go on spaces, we go on streams, and we say, "Oh, Zherka's anti-war. He's a war channel that's anti-war. What the fuck? He's all for the war of the soul and everything you're supposed to do as a man." But when it comes to political wars, Zionist wars, this is a Zionist war. He will stop you in your tracks there. And I think within less than a couple months, you'll see why. And you're going to be like, "Well, I'm so glad that I didn't get infatuated by memes too hard." Because you remember, money, women, good looks, tall, 6'5". You want all that good energy. All the shit that I have comes from strong karma because I'm not a fucking sap. When I was 8 years old, I didn't fall for this shit. Like, you like Bush? Do you like this? I was always inclined to like Bush, the American energy, but I always knew, I'm like, no, 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 no. You cannot be a wartime president. And I fuck with that. You just can't, unless we're talking about in history, black and white history. But in a living time right now, in reality, no way. And so I just wanted to put that in you guys' heads because a lot of you guys are like Team Iran, Team US. And it's like, first of all, if you're gonna pick a team, just know that it comes with consequences, especially if you're posting and stuff like that. And I don't want that for my followers. I could see like political channels getting the horrific karma, and it's like, yeah, you deserved it. Your political channels. But my channel is a spiritual channel, so it's all about me getting you guys smiling around women, doing hard things, leveling up, and prepare for the stars. Like the more important things. Um, like a lot of you guys get really confused with their. I get these questions about reincarnation. Never think of reincarnation, you fucking idiot. Just think of it as one life, because that 500-year period, the dream life you're gonna have that you go into, the heaven or hell state, that's next. It's not reincarnation that's next. When you sort all that, then you can have more. But until then, this is gonna feel like infinite to you. It is one life. Just focus it like that. Actually, you should really see it as one day at a time, right? Master the day. Don't get your mind hijacked. Don't go unconscious because of the news or the memes or the people you follow. Have strong discernment and judgment. Be like, why are the only freedom channels, Myron, Nick, and Zherka? Why are these vicious guys, very red guys? Why are these guys anti-war and everyone else is pro-war on all sides? And then you'll quickly realize, oh shit, there's a moral core to these degenerate type channels, like these people who shit on women and stuff like that. There's a moral core to these guys. There's more than just what the personality we see, the memes. There's something deeper, that these are more mature souls. Now, why can't I say this about someone like Sneeko? It's not that I hate Sneeko, it's that he is pro-war. I mean, just a couple weeks ago, he's talking like a fucking Houthi crazy motherfucker. He talks like a radical. That Myron and Nick and Zherka, no matter how crazy they get, they don't talk like that. There's a reason for that. Is Sneeko does not have a moral core to him, right? If the shoe was on the other foot and Muslims were winning, he would stomp you the fuck out, right? He would stomp out the white people. You could see it in his eyes that something happened to that kid. Something a long time ago racially happened to him. And I don't think it happened to Jared Taylor. I don't think it happened to Nick. I don't think it happened to Myron. I don't think it happened to me. I think we have other traumas, right? I think we have other wounds, but we don't have this racial superiority complex that Sneeko has. So be careful with that, especially if you're a Sneeko viewer and he's dragging you into perpetual thoughts of I hate this guy, I hate that guy. You got to be careful with that, right? You should be able to smile at the Ayatollah as much as you smile at Trump, both sides, because you answer to the Christ. You don't answer to Trump. You don't answer to these people that, bro, these guys have so much aura. Trump and his team is like fucking badass as fuck, but they're degenerating your soul. So it's like, yeah, this is the time where you say, hey, man, the next 4 years cannot be my mind hijacked by the aura, right? A lot of aura monsters will hijack you, right? It's like you meet Zherka in person. You'll be so charmed that your mind will be hijacked. And Zherka is not a nice guy. He will take your mind and, take you for a spin. He will not to take money from you, not to do this kind of stuff, but just for fun. There are people like Trump who says your mind is mine and you're supposed to say no. No, it's not. This is where you draw the line. And welcome to World War III. Whether it's a bumpy start or not, you are 100% within it. And there's nothing you can do. Trump did it to you. He's kind of doing it to you against your will. Not kind of, he actually is. You shouldn't be angry about it, but you should put your boot on the ground and say, this is not who I give my mind to, right? That's the all of scripture is about not going unconscious. Scripture doesn't tell you what to do as much as people like to say it does. It's more about don't go unconscious and then you'll know how to be free. That's what it's really about. And that's why, Muslims have such fucking horrific karma is because they're they're anti-freedom in every metric, right? And the less conscious you are, the harder it is to aim for a freedom, right? It's very tough. Does that mean all of them? No. I'm sure everyone knows a Muslim guy in America that he doesn't subscribe to the Islamic thoughts. He might call himself a cultural Muslim, but he just doesn't subscribe to it because he's just at a higher level of consciousness. And a lot of people are like, he's just saying this to make me think Christians are at a higher level of consciousness than Muslims. I'm not. I'm saying that atheists are at a higher level of consciousness than Christians, right? Because Christians need to believe, atheists need to know. They're more Gnostic about their energy. So you must realize that I'm not saying it. If I said this just to like fool some of you, if I was about the tomfoolery, then I would say that Christians are at the highest point of consciousness, and they're not. Atheists are. That's like a proven fact. It'll be Democrats too. They will be blue voters that are at the highest levels of consciousness, which is brutal, right? Because a lot of these guys aren't family oriented. They have some family quirks or stuff that allows. Remember, anytime you have a family problem, you've suffered much more than someone else. Let's say you don't talk to your family anymore, and it makes you swing blue. Remember, suffering leads to much higher levels of consciousness, so that's why it'll look like that. Even though when it gets balanced out, people will go back to family. But at the current timeline we're at now, yes, atheists who are bad with their family members usually suffer a lot, high levels of depression, despair, and a lot of them go to Silicon Valley with that and pop out the other side as successful, mega titan, strong ass incarnations, good at three things at once, and then they even fix it with their family, although they can never fix it with God because of the suffering they went through, which is tough, right? Again, it's normal, right? For the last couple hundreds of years, religion has taken a backseat, right? So it's more about self mastery because, scripture is about a man who's already mastered. heading towards higher worlds, that's when scripture gets very methodical, very, must be sharply read. But again, most people follow religion without self mastery. So therefore, they hate their religion and their addiction to fapping and all that. So, they're stuck between that, and which is fucking hilarious. That's why I say if you're not successful, there's no point to religion, right? You're just building nasty shadows. And that's why just get your dreams done fast, early, like me, 25 years old, boom, 28, everything's done, right? 30, you're just traveling the world at this point, and you should know what you're doing for the rest of your life after that. And I'm saying this, that, yeah, it's less than 1% of the population that can do this. I get what you're saying, like, hey, Zerka, you're asking for too much. But my channel will never be about, it'll be about the fucking elite. That's all we ever want to hear about, is the elite, right? I want to be a part of the elite. That's all I give a fuck about, because the elite, and I'm not talking about the business elite. I'm saying I do whatever the fuck I want to do whenever I want to do it, and that's it. And that's, you should be striving towards that, even if it's a fucking delusion, right? It should be your morning sun, your morning star. That's how you want to move. Why is that? It's, you will be inexhaustible when that's your position. You will always feel like me if that's your position, and you will get there. Make no mistake about that. It's like, yeah, is 10% of the people listening to this gonna get something out of this that changes their life? 100%. Is 90% of the people listening to this gonna be more confused than when they started? That's normal. But years later, right? Years later, some of these words fit into their little miniaturized skulls, right? Have you, like, for example, if you guys send me clips of, yo, this guy said his whole life got changed by watching Zerka. Why are these clips coming out 2 years later? Because that's how long it takes. That's how long it takes for my words to actually penetrate you when you're at like teenage levels of consciousness, let's say, right? So everything I say is going to hit much later, but it's still useful, because it's like, I'm not saying that it's always going to be slow motion. It's just going to be the beginning that's like this. And then what? 21 to 28 years old, everything I say you'll absorb easier, right? But let's bring some people in. Go ahead. Go ahead. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, I heard what you said, and I think it's true. The pendulum has to swing one way or another. If it wasn't going to be the Jews, it was going to be the Muslims, and it wasn't going to be the Muslims, it would have been the Christians. And yeah, this is just the beginning. I mean, any retard can see it. And yeah, I think it's all downhill from here. But what can what can any average person really do?
Yep. Yeah. Go ahead, Charm Hole. I think you're a tanky, right? Turns out you guys were wrong about everything. That's crazy, dude.
Jesus is king.
Hey, man.
Hey, Zherka, bro. Good.
And
Yeah,
it's fun. Like, I don't know why people act like it's a sad thing. Yeah, coming to religion is a sad thing. No doubt about it. Like Buddhist, Islam, all this stuff. Coming to religion can be a sad day in life. But coming towards Christianity is actually, even if you're going through it, it feels like a sunrise. No matter, it feels like a never ending sunrise. So, because I hate that I'm linked to people's most, where they're suffering the hardest, right? Which is usually a Christian channel will be linked to that. That's how people click on it and go, "Hey, this resonates." But you'll find it slowly entering this lifestyle where, hey, I'm a crazy person like Zerka, but I also have something limiting me from going totally fucking savage. And this thing limiting me, it feels like it's my most valuable possession. And this is my soul. And this is my soul. It shines towards towards ego consciousness. And by ego consciousness, I mean the Christian mysteries. Like, this is the direction I want to go. This is awesome. This is fun. Like, I hate people who don't understand the scriptures also fun. Obviously, the hard parts is hard, but talking about interpreting scripture and finding those hacks, there are hacks in scripture for how you should live your life. That's the most fun. I that is the video game of life.
Yeah. Yo, thank you so much. First off, I just gotta say, guys, Charmo, thank you so much for doing this.
Bro, Charmo, you've been around the communities, all of our communities, since 2018 or 19, right?
I'm fucking old, dude. I'm turning 40 next week. I'm gonna die soon.
Dude, you've been in my community, Jackson's, Haas's, Raj Patel community. You were a part of that too.
Bro, I can't believe you remember that shit.
Yeah. No, because you would beef people on the calls too, like a bunch of e-girls and all that. And there was also another guy called Jordan Peterson is God. Do you remember that guy?
Oh man, dude, that's a callback right there.
Yeah.
I got too many hits to the head, man. All I remember is Alabro about that back then.
Bro, holy shit. He was great content. Why did we try and kick him out? He was fucking awesome.
Oh, he was perfect. He was the blob in real life, incarnate. Like
he was Jabba. But yo, you became a tanky at one point, 2022.
Yeah, a little bit.
And how did they suck you in there? They said something about Russia, China being the top dog, right? I think Haas said China is going to be like the leader of the free world. And
yeah, well, it was just the turning point, because that was the moment Twitch finally pulled the trigger and said, if you talk bad politics, we're kicking you. We don't care if you never said a slur. We don't care if you never said anything like that. That was the moment where Twitch was officially. I got banned too. That's why I jumped on that bandwagon.
Was it Ukraine war stuff?
Yeah. So right when that shit popped off, exactly. So I got banned too. Of course, it was only for like a month or something. They got banned permanently. I don't even think Hinkle's allowed back in the fucking United States right now. Shit. But like, yeah.
Which is such a depressing trade. Like, if you've ever been to one of these countries, bro, I'm not just being a hater. Imagine not being able to come to the US. You have to hang out in Russia. You know how boring that is?
Oh, it's cold. It's like Minnesota. Like
No, all the old parts of like Europe is so much fun to travel as a vacation, but old Europe is really boring. Once you're done the fucking tourist shit, you're really bored.
Yeah, seeing sheep and corn is like the highlight every day. No,
Yeah.
it's wait, hold on, we're getting too sidetracked, guys. Fucking share this, like this, bookmark this shit. Seriously, everything Zherka said tonight is more than true. More than true. Okay, you really don't understand what the layers, not just philosophically, not just spiritually, right? Physically, okay? You stop thinking about audio as something that you can't see and can't prove. It's more than real, and you've been injecting it into your vain brains for God knows me, at least 2018, right? Take this
Yeah.
to heart, please.
Memes can fucking be like spirits in your head. They can take over. Bro, I had memes of just Trump nuking the world and I was smiling. I was like, holy shit, this Twitter's got some hard ass memes, bro. Like, what the he hijacked my mind.
That's so true. I was just talking about the Mycelium Network today with my boss, right? Saying how, so like how we're talking right now, of course, over radio, electrified crystals. That's literally how we're speaking right now across the world in real time. Well, our brains do the exact same thing, except bioelectrically, right? With mushrooms, right? We're walking fucking mushroom stalks, okay? You have to understand this. And when one mushroom dies, gets eaten, farts, right? Another mushroom will smell it, will cry, will eat it, right? It almost instantly, because it's part of the exact same network. We now, for God knows how long, 30 years, right? Internet has just existed. As humans, we've now sucked this up. And to Zherka's point earlier, I don't want to brag, but I'm Aryan as fuck. Okay, I am the Wigger. You understand? I am the Wigger. Seriously, I'm not even joking. I'm 6'3". Right. I'm 300 fucking pounds. Blonde hair, blue-eyed, white as snow.
Well, how are you 300 pounds?
Brother, ask the homeless guys that fucking.
You're a bodybuilder? Okay. Are you a bodybuilder or a fat ass?
I'm literally both. I'm I bodybuild so I can eat pizza every
Yo, first of all, can you explain to people the kind of appetite a man has? Because, bro,
Mm.
5'5" people, humans, male and female, they don't like. You know, when a 5'5" guy gets hungry, it's not a big deal. But when a big guy gets hungry, yo, you can drop from blood sugar issues. You can literally drop and break your head. Like, bro, imagine having a 5'5" body to take care of. It must be so
I
easy.
was
It
thinking
must
that
be
the
like
other
you
day.
get a little peckish. Like, who gives a
I
fuck?
meant to
If you
share
get
this.
hungry as a big guy, you're like, oh man, I'm fucking dying, man.
I think that every single time I see a little bitch do a pull up, I cry because I'm like, I'm built
Yeah,
like a T Rex. I can kick
yeah.
you to death with one
Dude,
kick.
it's always who say I can do a lot of
Yeah.
pull-ups. Like, no
Bro,
fucking shit you can do a
bro.
lot of pull-ups.
Dinklage, shit. Dinklage, look at you fucking getting 500
Yeah,
reps of yourself.
yeah. It's
You
like
big
if
five
you if you have
pound piece of shit.
if you've seen these T-Rexes, they don't have long arms and they go, I can bench a lot. It's like you're not even benching. You're barely
You're
moving the
breathing.
fucking weight.
You might as well stand
Yeah,
on your
look.
chest. It's going up.
Ask Michael Jordan to do a bench press. That's rough. That's hard.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why you always see big niggas squat. Okay. I was telling these kids
Yeah,
earlier, I can do 900 pounds easy. They said, no, you can't. I said, brother, I'm doing 300 right now. When I fucking go to take a shit, I do a quarter, like, a quarter of that. Like, it's so easy.
yeah,
But yeah, no. So the homeless guys, I'm riding my bike on the fucking streets, and the homeless guys are like, hey, girl, and I look back and they see a big ass beard. They're like, oh fuck! They fucking chase me down. They throw bottles at me. They literally get mad because my fat ass is male, right? So this is kind of
yeah.
like that. That kind of flows into my whole the entire reason.
Bro, I like to get fat 2 times a year. And bro, getting fat
Bro,
used to
it's
be
muscle.
impossible for getting fat used to be impossible for me. But if you've ever done aggressive, not regular, but aggressive ass steroid cycles, your appetite expands. Like it takes 2 years till it goes back to normal. It takes some people say never. I don't think that. I think that's just bad eating habits. But man, if you've ever done an aggressive gear cycle, and you're, let's say you're a fat ass I had a fat ass buddy who did that. He was obese for the rest of his life after that because it's like a desire body issue after that. But which is horrible, by the way. Like people think they want a giant skeletal frame to take care of until you realize everything is annoying about that. I look at some of my buddies who wear the same t-shirt for 48 hours and they don't have sweat on their shirt. They don't even have to do laundry. Some of these guys pretend they're doing laundry, but smaller human beings don't have to do laundry. Do you know how I know they're not doing it? They're nasty because they don't notice that they're sweaty. They don't sweat that much. You know what I
They
mean?
exist in
So that's why
space.
I look at I look at smaller incarnations and I go, they're less
Yeah.
hygienic because a bigger guy is always worried if he
This is
smells
why
or not and all that
this is
shit.
why it's so easy to believe that Nephilim exists now. I am a Nephilim. You are a Nephilim. Like if you're over 6 feet tall and you meet someone who's a
Yeah,
pygmy, right? Like
yeah,
they are literally a tiny person. They exist on a completely different wavelength, physically, mentally, in every way than you do.
yeah.
Like, and it's hard.
And you got to remember the cosmic joke of why we laugh at a short person is because their thoughts didn't grow with them, so they held themselves from a tall incarnation just by their own mind's capacity. That's why you look at a tall guy, he always goes, maybe I can be president. He lets his mind
Oh my
expand way
god,
more.
that's wow. You just blew my mind. Luckily,
And I just don't
I have the
charm.
ramp.
I don't
Well,
like
no,
short people, bro. I've given. You ever give a million short people chances, and they always have this thing like you're better than me. Yeah, of course I'm better than you. What the fuck?
forever. Forever for
And-
nothing other than the fact that I have to
yeah,
literally look up to you. Act.
and they do weird guilt trip tactics. Like when you're at a bar with them, they go, "Must be cool being up there." Like the chicks like you, and it's like, why are you guilt tripping? You're the one who chose your incarnation. You chose
You
that
just
shit, bro.
unlocked a fucking core memory I totally forgot about. I was working at Olive Garden. I'm a server. This girl, oh my god, she's like this tiny little Jew, fucking so hot. She could have been IDF. I don't care, right? She was so beautiful, right? And I see this guy, right? This bald fucking short, whoever, right? Scott, right? Goes up to her. He's an actor. Hey, you want to go see the new Bond movie, right? And I walk up and I go, And she's like, well, and I go, hey, I'll go. Hey, hey, I want to see the new Bond movie. And Scott looks at me like he could kill me, but I didn't pick up on that because the girl immediately said, yeah, let's all do it. Right. And we go,
There it
he
is.
sits in
She
the
wants to
middle
feel
the
safe.
entire time.
Wants
The
wants
entire
she
night.
wants to
I'm
feel
fucking
safe because she can't go with the short.
off in the middle of the fucking movie. Yeah, whereas me, I'm gonna be like, hell yeah, Daniel Craig, this fucking shit's tight. Hey, have you heard about Jesus Christ? You know, like,
I have met one or two short guys that never mentioned height about my height or their own height, and I always respected the fuck out of them. Like they don't even think of it, but
yeah.
that's so rare. You'll meet two of those people your whole life.
Oh, absolutely. Oz unfortunately is not one of those people, but
Haas loves to mention height. He loves to just anywhere he goes, everything is height cope maxing, bro. He's
when he had that height off with Destiny and it turned out they're twins, they're fucking twins.
Well, in a weird way,
Right?
Destiny and I are cool now. We unblocked each other, but in a
Yeah.
weird way, Haas is the whole beef of when he was beefing with Destiny with who is more masculine. I remember thinking, I'm like, the fact that Haas is entertaining this makes him look bad. I wouldn't entertain it. I would just laugh, right?
Very
I was
no,
like,
absolutely.
Destiny knew that he's making himself look jester so long as he gets to take Haas down with him, like on kamikaze shit.
Yeah. Oh, who cares? Because he gets to suck all the fucking girl toes all night.
Yeah,
Fucking,
there you
he's
go.
he's
There you
snorting shit off their fucking toe jam, right? Meanwhile,
go.
Haas, what is he gonna do? Oh, he's gonna go pump about it at the gym. Well, I'm gonna go
Yeah.
pump about it. It's like, yeah,
Charm, are you pro America or no?
bro, I am the American. I'm literally the heart of America. You said earlier, first off,
You,
Christ.
you knew what I meant when I said that you can be born in Indonesia and have an obsession for America. You've seen those people,
Yeah,
right?
and marabouts. Yeah, well,
Yeah,
fucking
yeah.
Hassan.
And
Hassan,
and and
born
people
in
don't
America.
realize what
True,
that is.
absolutely.
That people don't realize that's a spirit. Like it's contagious. It's super.
You're
Once it's on you,
you're
you
absolutely
cannot get it out of you.
no, absolutely. I'm fucking heart of America. This is why Fuentes is so hard. This is why Ye is so hard. Is because
Yeah,
Chicago land area, Chicago mafia land, American mafia, the American mafia. That's what Trump is. We don't care about Jewish mafia, Italian
yeah.
mafia, Rome mafia. Fuck all
I
that.
dude, I go as far
American
as
mob now. Like,
people are like, you mean all the cool things about America? I'm like, no, no. The fact that you can go trans as fuck is so badass to me. A lot of conservative channels attack me for this. They're like, what do you mean? I'm like, the fact that the freedom impulse has so much electricity that there's a risk you could chop your own shit off.
yeah,
That is so fucking bad. It's like Goku doing Kaioken where it hurts him. It hurts him, but he has to do it to win the fight.
your motorcycle girl analogy earlier was spot on. That's why I was saying like that.
Yeah, a
Really
lot
happened.
of people don't realize that it's like, dude, as a man, if you feel women should be covered up on the streets, right? Like not in some kind of beautiful religious way, but in a way where they don't even want it. It's like just to oppress them. If you have an impulse of that's cool, there's something really backwards about you. And a lot of people are like, well, look at the old scripture. And it's like, no, no, we're looking at evolved consciousness to 2026. Like, for example, you can make so many arguments it's okay to marry a 14-year-old and all that. But the fact that consciousness by group in the West evolved into saying, no, that's a little weird, then you should have the DLC pack of what's weird, bro. You know what I mean?
This is what I was speaking to earlier when I said we grew up on the internet. This is why I love Zoomers so much because as a millennial, as an old fucking asshole, I got the internet when I was like 10. I was a teen. I was right in that area, right? But basically, I grew up with electronics. Zoomers, you kids grow up with iPads. You're
Yeah.
already in the holodeck as a baby.
I,
This is
I
why
would
when
I would I would I would never consider like the MP3 player generation, the iPod Nano. I don't consider that as a screen generation at all. But these guys who grow up with iPads, they're different animals. Where it's like, yes, they might be better at the workplace as just computer robots, but I genuinely believe in my heart, though, that this iPad generation will have the highest risk profile for suicide by far.
well, because all they have to do is flip a switch, right? All
Well,
like
it's
all
because they
any
think
of these
it's
AI
because they
guys,
think
all like
charm
you heard
charm.
of
It's
gang
because they
stalking, we'll
think
think of AI gang stalking. Like,
they
no,
literally think they are a switch. They press so many.
they're
They
off.
press so
Yeah.
They press so many buttons, they think they are a button. You know, it's like a lot of people don't realize, like, Zerka, why are you against smokers? You can smoke a pipe for so long that you think you are, you start identifying with the pipe. You forget you are conscious. You become the pipe. You don't feel good unless the pipe is around. You become whatever you're doing. You could be a gamer who games so much that you drop out of the incarnation and you identify with GTA, and now you're suicidal because you're no longer in the world. You will identify with what you're obsessed with, which can be very dangerous, bro.
So you don't think you're being played by somebody in the future? You don't.
I think if you smoke a pipe long enough to the point where you are a pipe, you're in danger. If you play a game long enough to where you are the game, you're in danger. Like that's how fucking Club Penguin were born, bro. And remember, you can identify with things in a badass way, right? Like Logan Paul identified with wrestling, and now he is a wrestler, but he's much more than that too. And there's some wrestlers who identify with wrestling so hard that they want to win, they want to be successful, but they have to take painkillers to keep up. And now they're addicted to Percocet and they ruin their lives. Then they kill themselves because they identified with wrestling too much. That's why the name of the game, every single mystic throughout history said, don't identify, use. Use the thing in front of you. Don't identify. Use the motorcycle, enjoy it. Don't be the motorcycle to the point where you're fucking dead from riding all day.
This is why Spielberg is kind of empty now, right? You think of Steven Spielberg, he abused Drew Barrymore, right? There's no doubt in my mind. I do think that you're right. You're, which sucks because I was hoping to, like, I don't know, become like a gamer incarnate, right? But that is a really good point, because once you are it, then you are the object. Same thing, relating it back to smaller people not being able to grasp bigger ideas. First off, I just have a large head. I'm literally, when I was in football, I had to have a huge helmet because I have a big head. I have big thoughts. I have more
Which, by the way, girls love that way more. Have you noticed that?
brain.
If you there's a website I forgot that checks large head celebrities and how many chicks they have
Oh
compared
no.
to small. Dude, you could be a good looking guy with a smaller head. You get way less women. Like it's a thing.
Damn, man. Now Hassan's
Yeah,
on Suicide Watch. Shit. Ayatollah Hassani.
yeah,
Maybe he
yeah,
can be the new Ayatollah. No, but
yeah.
uh yeah, so, oh well, so yeah, with children, when you have children, you'll notice that they really are slaves. Like, they're your slave. They're you, but they're,
Where are you going with this?
well, look. Oh wait, hold on. Whoa, 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 wait. No, I mean in the mental sense, right? Like, they don't have choices.
They
You
are.
can't think of things,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
I mean, they're good slaves. They mimic too.
Yeah, well, tabula rasa, right?
Yeah.
There is nothing, but it will get written, and you might be able to wipe it away again, but eventually you lock in, literally, like, very much so, into who you are. And then that comes freedom, right? This is why I told CNN, right? I'm hanging out with Haas and Hinkle. Meanwhile, this little brownoid's trying to kick me out, right? He's like, "You're terminal. You said a slur." I'm like, "Nigga, you're tiny. I will eat you. Like, shut up," right? Like, there's when I was there, I said time and time again, freedom wills freedom. Hegel said this 200 years ago. It's my favorite quote. I love him more than anything. The more I think about it, just think about this quote: freedom wills freedom. Your freedom to choose will allow you to choose more, which will allow you to become really who you are. Not, oh, I'm the guy that can quote every single South Park episode and every single Simpsons. No, like, you you will then be able to truly move beyond who you were born as, and then create
Yeah.
unto yourself. You can be reincarnated in your own lifetime. I think you said that before.
Yeah.
Like, that's
It's like you can have, it's like God says you can have any, if God came down and said you can have any gift you want so long as it's freedom, and everyone would be like, what the fuck, that's the only thing, I want something else. And people don't realize that that's the one that morphs into anything else. That's literally that thought perception right there can transform how you see the world. That if you aim for freedom, it can turn into anything you want to do. But if you aim for being a billionaire, now you're limited, and now chances are you'll never make it. Right? When you aim for freedom, it's like an everlasting spring of energy. You can just keep saying to yourself, wait a minute, if I keep maximizing freedom, I get closer to my incarnation task. This is so fucking strange. This is why most breakthroughs happen for most people. They quit their job. Have you ever quit your job and then breakthroughs start happening? You're like, what the fuck is going? Everything's shifting, and you're like, whoa, fuck that job. That job was shit, but it wasn't shit when you were just out of it, right? There's breakthroughs that happen in the soil of freedom, and a lot of people don't realize that the Iranian people they want that freedom too. You know, as much as you guys want to suppress women and stuff, it's not going to happen. A lot of these people are making, some people are making that argument that the pendulum's going to swing back to being conservative, and it's like the more conservative it swings in the future, the more women will be free. That you cannot stop freedom. The freedom impulse for men and women is going to keep increasing and keep increasing until and destroys, and this has to happen. I'm not saying it's evil, until it destroys all the foundations of marriage, where humans cannot even live together, right? And not even you and your buddies will be able to live together, right? Ego consciousness is going to get that hyper individualized. And a lot of you guys don't realize that it's like the more you try and suppress the woman, the more miserable you'll be. But when you say, yeah, do whatever the fuck you want, she will like you more, that you don't give a fuck. When you say, "Hey, I need you at this time, at this time," dude, you're not married, bro. Met someone that's good to argue with on stream. That's a fun type of embarrassment where it's kind of embarrassing, but also it's going somewhere, right? It's good content, whatever. The chat is buzzing, and you look at the money, you're like, this is much better than applying effort, you know. So let's get Charm back in here. What were you saying?
Yo, Zherka.
Yeah, what's up, man?
So I've given up on Sonny and Sneeko. It just seems like they're very deep into like the Arabization.
Well, yeah,
Um,
I'll say this. Have you noticed that those two are more extreme than the average Muslim? Have
why
you
do you think
noticed
so?
that?
Why do you think they're more extreme?
Something clearly happened to them when they were young, and for Sonny, it's more of a father figure thing, where the Christian mysteries are not father figure enough for him because he wants a higher level of strictness, right? Remember, when you grow up without a father, the strictness has to be there, and Christianity does not have the strictness because it's evolved towards the freedom impulse. Like that's what the Christ force is freedom. That's why people, even Christians, go, I don't know what I'm really doing with my life. And Jesus Christ isn't going to come down and say, you have to, work with, you have to be a tax broker or whatever the fuck. He's not going to do that for you, right? It's a freedom impulse. Whereas Islam doesn't have the freedom impulse. So, there are lower levels of consciousness. It's going to be one of those things, right? It's going to be an insecurity thing for Sonny that freedom impulse is way too scary. And but by the way, you can become an alcoholic with the freedom impulse, where it's like when the Christ says all doors are open for you, go, like there's no way to living life. You just the way is the one that allows you to generate the best loving thought forms. So it's not like scripture will ever tell you what your career is or whatever, which is like the hard part for people. So that's where he gets confused. Sneeko, I've said this many times when I first met Sneeko too, and he thought I'm joking. I think everyone knew I'm serious. Sneeko has something in him that is rotten. He has a soul defect where
I
there's
agree.
evil. There's evil in his heart. There's hatred in his heart, and that's why you can always see it because it's like a Ted Bundy thing that you want to show to people in a interesting way. Like for example, have you seen Sneeko talk about Indian people? Like as funny as he is as a comedian, when Zherka shits on Indian people, everyone's laughing. When Sneeko does it, you can tell he wants to butcher them with a knife. There's this hatred of the Indian person, and you can see in Sneeko's eyes, nothing happened towards him and Indians. He never got hacked by them. He never got stopped on the streets and attacked by them. But it's a superiority thing that he wants to be like, I can't say it to the white guy because technically in the hierarchy he's above in the social status, but I can be the white slave owner against the Indian because I'm technically at a higher. I'm in the West, so Sneeko like becomes the Nick Fuentes archetype around the Indian. which is crazy to me because it's like that means Sneeko actually believes in these color things. Like there's a color hierarchy and all that, right? But it's not just that. You can see that in his career, he's beefed literally everyone, and I'm like, he doesn't even have a warlike disposition. He doesn't have that war thing. Sneeko doesn't have the war thing in him. Everyone likes to say that the war is in Sneeko until he gets checked. When Sneeko gets checked, he immediately goes back to being a bunny rabbit. So he doesn't have the war in him, but he has the torturer archetype in him. If it was a thing where he Sneeko doesn't take pleasure in war because if they hit back or if it's too much, he'll always like do something else or go regroup Muslims to help him. But he has this archetypal energy that he gets off on torturing souls. Like he has a power. It's a power vacuum where it's like he feels no matter how powerful he is, it's never enough. He always something happened to him. Like did you kill someone? Like what the fuck was that? But something happened to him where a kid kicked rocks in his face as a child, and instead of him getting over that or getting strong, he needs to kick rocks in other children's faces. And it's really weird because you can see Stinko always retreating to, hey, we should be friends again. Hey guys, we should be allies again. We should be this again. And we should do it. Hey, if we collab, we're cool. And it's like, dude, we cannot collab because your whole incarnation is to increase primitive Islam, not even the higher levels of consciousness of Islam, but the primitive side. And here's the crazy thing is his whole career, his whole money-making system is connected to that. You know, that's like, is Zerka's channel connected to Christianity? Does Zerka make money off Christianity? Like, I make zero. You know, I make money off Red Pill. I make money off other things that I talk about. I don't make, the Christian stuff is always the free stuff. It's not hidden behind a paywall. It's always on the Jack Neal podcast. It's always the stuff forward, but it's not linked to my money. His religion is linked to his money directly, which makes it so easy to corrupt him, which also makes it so he can never take breaks. It's like you can see when humans don't learn their lessons, they're going further and further into the mud. Like, for example, Sneeko avoided all the Islamic podcast channels that are chill, and he went right to Muhammad Hijab, right to the extremes and the crazies and the ones the outrage, the clickbait ones, right? You could say it's for clickbait, it's not. The soul loves extremes. Like, think of Sneeko's cocaine being Islam. He likes the bad stepped on cut up bags. He doesn't like the pure powder. He likes the cheap stuff you get on the street that's mixed with speed and meth and all that. He likes the shittier, lower level consciousness versions of Islam. And it suits him. Remember, he only joined the faith. I don't know if anyone realizes this. He only joined the faith so they can help him with a wife because he didn't like the dating scene in Miami or something. And that's what all these trips are about. And so it started off as a wife thing, and then he gave up on that, and now it's more like a war thing, and then it turned into like a Christian Islamic hybrid channel, and then it turned into Convert Zerka's fans, which I didn't even realize he's doing this until you guys brought me to consciousness with this, and I was like, I really didn't think a human could be all this sneaky. Like every move he makes is in his head it's for God. No, it's not. He's not even religious, bro. He All of this is a system to keep him guarded. And people are like, well, why can't you just be homies for the sake of being homies? And it's like, you will never convert one of my children and have me be cool with you. It's like if Myron was converting my fans on the low to join some temple. I would say, Myron, what the fuck are you doing? It's the dirtiest thing you could do because these fans are thinking, oh, I only went to Sneeko because Zerka green lighted him, right? Zerka green lit him. Oh, Zerka stopped going on the Sneeko shows. Oh, it's because Zerka doesn't want to green light him. It's like, that's why he's angry. It's like, yeah, dude, if you understand how all this is tied, who would have thought that in less than 2 years, he's the most radical channel where he's saying some shit that's just fucking embarrassing, bro. Like there's blue pill and then there's green pill, which is the blue pill of the fucking Islamic world. He's You can tell it's embarrassing because if you notice, even Sneeko supporters get on his ass. Like his own supporters who rock the same faith, they get on his ass when he's fucking up. And it's like, when you see higher levels of consciousness from Aiden Ross recently than Sneeko, it's like it's a big problem. And I guarantee you, in 2 years, you're gonna see he's gonna be one of the most radical channels on earth, right? And all of that has to happen to pull the evil out of you. You have to kind of ride the wave of it, and it'll purge itself eventually. But man, what you're seeing is like what a week ago he called you guys satanic for being followers of the Christ,
Yeah, and he made that
and
tweet the
then
other day saying, "Oh, we need to be friends. We need to unite."
yeah, he said we gotta all be friends, and it's like, dude, you are not the friendship channel. Like
He,
you're not Myron, you're not Nick. Even Nick did a good job of gluing both sides, even though for 6 months I said this is like hopeless. This is a stupid strategy, and I was right. It was kind of crazy. It's crazy to think that.
yeah, it's just they can't pick a side where they're like, "Oh, you know what? We've got our main enemy, which is the Jews. Let's team up, us Christians and us Muslim. We've got our common enemy." When they say these other things like, because with Sneaker, for example, he shits on Christ all day long, right? Like, how do you have the audacity to come out with a tweet like that saying we need to unite? It's like, are you trying to be manipulative on purpose? Like, are you taking the piss? Like, what's going on there? And you know what's funny? In the Quran, chapter 5, verse 51, it says that don't take Christians and Jews as friends because they're friends of one another. It's like, dude, your own book condemns you for that, right? Um, but I wanted to speak on Myron because I think Myron has potential. But what do you think Zherka is going to take
Yeah,
Myron to like come to Christ? I don't know what sort of conversations you had with Myron Gaines,
yeah,
um, but what do you think it's going to take Myron to come to the truth, man? Like, what's your analysis on him?
yeah. I've always maintained, no matter who I'm around, that you have to be an idiot to think that everyone goes to the Christ in this incarnation. It's retarded to think that. Myron will die a Muslim. That's like how he came in the game like that. He's gonna leave like that, and that's extremely normal. Like you shouldn't even be worried about that. Same with like a native guy will die native. A Chinese guy is gonna die. What Buddhist or maybe Shinto Buddhist or atheist or whatever. That's like totally normal, and throughout history, you can see this, that many souls have died the way they were born. And that's just totally fucking normal. It's total. If you understand anything I teach, you wouldn't even be worried about those people at all. Who you should be worried about is the people raised Christian, love Christianity, and still run away from it. Those people are in danger.
I think with Myron's lifestyle, like I was binge watching Fresh and Fit for so long, right, for like 2 years until you came onto the show, started talking about Christ, and then I was pulled to your content. But seeing Myron still doing after hours is like, bro, like this is like proper hustle from him. And I'm thinking like,
What do you
Myron,
mean by that?
like the fact that like it's still going on, like the after hours show. Like I thought that'd be dead by now, but it's still like popping off and it's still like even bigger than what it was before. And I think with Christianity, right, because like do you know what repent means, Zerka? Like the Greek word?
Yeah, go ahead.
It means like to change one's mind. So with Myron, I feel like with him, well, I think you're partially right with what you're saying, is that he needs to like literally change his lifestyle, meaning no more after hour shows, no more all the stuff that he does. Like you literally you don't change your outer, but you have to change your inner. Like Jesus says, you have to come to him with all your heart. So I think Myron has to literally transform for him to come to Christ. And I don't think he's ready for that. Like he's too deep in his ego and too deep in his identity of being this uh, podcaster, Miami guy who gives advice on women and stuff. Like it has to be a complete change of identity for him. So I think
Well,
that's
I think the opposite would happen. That if he did come to the Christ, his podcast would be even more liberal, more bitches, more because it's a freedom impulse of like, we're saved. It's one of those things. But if he went to his religion, it would be like more strict. I think he'd be like, But again, who would Myron be if he didn't have that show? He wouldn't be the Myron we all know. The whole point is that you play the cards you're dealt, and eventually you fade out the bullshit. That's why, you can really judge someone as they're getting much older, like for when their hairs start graying. Like that's when you'll see someone's genuine interest shining. But usually in their 20s and their early 30s, it's like I don't know how much judging I would do. If, like, for example, I wouldn't judge Jordan Peterson when he was 35. This like we don't see the total. Right now, he's a lot older. We see exactly what his soul is about, which is weird. He became fucking evil. Like, he totally became about dead kids. And he was, I think Peterson was my favorite incarnation in 2015. Is like huge inspiration. It was like it's like I felt like he's almost speaking to me. He's like mentioning Jung and stuff that people don't know about, and I was like, "Wow, this is awesome." And then he just became this like, a dude all about like pleasing Netanyahu and stuff like that. And it's like it's a cool reminder that you can fall off from the top. Like Peterson was the highest level of consciousness we've seen, and then he fell off the top. He got bitter and angry, and it could happen even to me. That at the top I just say fuck these goat fuckers. It's easy for me to get bitter. It's easy for bro. If I could have a bad day and be worse than Hitler. I could literally. I get so angry when I see people justifying this whole like wrap up a woman and keep her at home all day. It's like, well, first of all, you can only do that if their heart's in it, right? You can't force that shit.
Oh, 100%. And yeah, I remember your first appearance on Fresh and Fit. I think one of the first things you said was like, you were born Muslim and you came to Christ. Like that for me, like me being a Muslim
Yeah,
back then, I was
yeah,
shocked, bro. I was like, what? Because I felt like your energy was good. Like
yeah.
um, like you were spitting a lot of game. But the fact that you came to Christ, I was like, what the hell? Like that's so weird. But for some reason, I kept watching you. I don't know why. And I think any other Muslim that would hear that, uh, a Muslim going to Christianity, they'll instantly turn you off, right? And I don't know what your opinion about this is. Like, why do you think some people who are Muslim would continue listening to you despite you saying like, F the Muslims,
Yeah,
I'm going to
yeah.
Christianity, and
Or
other people will just switch you off, and others will continue to watch you. Like, why do you think people have that sort of like?
yeah, yeah. I know what you're asking. It's almost like, well, why do people pay so much money to listen to my inner calls in thezerkofficial.com in our secret society? There's a lot of Muslims in there, and we try and squeeze them out, and they hide and stuff like that. And I know what the real reason is. It's not because they love me. It's not because of all the sweet, warm stuff. It's because their lives are genuinely better listening to me, better than when they listen to their parents, better than when they listen to their cousins, their uncles, better when they listen to their own God in their own scripture, better than when they listen to regular scripture from regular Christians. When a human's life tremendously benefits listening to one voice online, and usually it's that voice that kind of disappears. If you like, even Peterson would disappear on me. I'm like, where the fuck's this guy going all the time? He's so good. He should be giving us more content, and he'd take like long breaks and stuff. I don't know. He's like battling a drug addiction and shit. But yeah, if your life benefits, if Zerka tells you what's happening when you're dreaming, and you go to bed and start realizing, oh shit, he's not lying to me. He's kind of scaring me with how much truth he's bringing. When you start seeing it in your world, you're like, holy shit, that little one habit Zerka drilled in my head changed my whole life. It's impossible to drop Zerka. They make Zerka their god. And I don't mean like they pray to me, but everything I post, their notifications are on so they can get the latest update. They want to be the first one there. Now, for someone like you, it's like, yeah, I was targeting you. It sounds almost like methodical and evil, but I come from an atheist background with atheist parents and atheist family. But on the checkbox, if you say what country you're born in, you got to say, Kosovo, Albania, whatever, from that region. And what is that country's religion? That one that you're born with, you got to say, you're a Muslim. But were we ever Muslim in the sense of like actually being Muslim? No. Did I platform that as in, hey guys, I'm from a shittier place, like a much shittier place where people are really confused about where the God energy is on earth. I'm from that place. if I pop out into ego consciousness, you can too. So it's like a bat signal, right? And I knew that Muslims aren't going to turn me off. They're like, oh, he kind of reminds me of this guy, or he kind of looks like this and stuff like that. I knew it was like a signal of, hey guys, if you guys are ready to cross the road, you're going to go so much further in life. And I didn't take them to know, like for example, if I took them to regular Christianity, oh my God, would they? That'd be the most evil thing you could do, because they not only do they ruin their relationships with their families for switching faiths, but it's not even the truth. Like, there's no modern Christian channel that tells the truth. They don't talk about the freedom impulse that the Christ brings. They talk about everything antithetical to freedom. They actually try and tell you that the Christ force is some kind of like fatherly force of like, no, it's about freedom, right? And then you choose. And if you don't teach this correctly, you're fucked. And you can't teach this correctly unless you do 1 year of red pill, crazy ass content, screaming at the top of your lungs. Why? So people go, oh, he lived his freedom. He lives his freedom. He's showing us that you can have, like, for example, sounds fucking crazy to say, but I can't imagine, I can't even name one influencer who has had stronger karma than me. Women, money, looks, every fucking it's all of it, to the point where I'm getting fat. Like, I don't know what to do with all this, you know? And it's like, it's so simple to see how this happens for someone like me. You just study Zherka at 5 to 10 years old. If you saw what my soul is like, you'd be like, oh, he's really gentle. He's for the Christian mysteries. He's actually a sweetheart. He doesn't lie. He doesn't. Oh shit! That it sticks onto me from previous energies, and that inner child that I have is my guiding star. That when, and no matter how much I sin, I can always go back to, hey, young man inside of me, what do you want to do? And he always says, I want to go on a Twitter Spaces and tell these people to be anti-war. And it's like, yes, you got to be like a child to inherit the kingdom. You are my guiding star, where it's like you are the true Christian, because as an adult you can do a lot of sinful shit, but your inner child's usually going to be like, I want peace on earth. And that guy has to be involved, right? And for me, it's always been like, I don't want to be like Gary. Like Gary's such a conflicted, horrible karma soul. Like, yeah, I don't mean like I know what happened to him. It's just anytime he's talking, he's like always being cooked alive by his own thought forms. And Gary also is like stares off into windows a lot. I remember he used to stare. Gary reminded me of me on drugs. I don't, not the weed like a drug, but he'd stare off into windows filled with regret. He's like, oh, I got a bit of money, but I was just so angry. I was always beefing people, and I'm like, bro, Gary, usually it takes drugs to beef that many people. You're not even on drugs. Like, you're just a tormented soul. So Gary's just like someone who I feel like is such a child soul. He's like such a childish soul, and which is why he's entertaining. But yeah, I gotta take him under my wing, man. The guy just I gotta teach him shit, because it's almost like, what the fuck is Gary doing, bro? Like, what the fuck? Let's bring him in. Charm hole first.
Oh, Zherka, are you still into numerology or?
Oh yeah, bro. I love it, man. It's like, dude, I've been with an 11 recently. No, to
What
tell you
about
the
mine?
truth, bro.
I'm
It's
September.
a joke. It's a joke.
Oh.
Don't get ahead of yourself. Like, I always say I'll bring back numerology if I'm live, if it's on stream, if it's one of those, but never on
Can you do my
Spaces.
one? Can you do my one?
Bro, are you kidding me? Like, you're gonna burn in hell for this? No, no, we're not. And what's crazy is like, I like the animal stuff. Like, if you ask anyone, they'll be like, Zerka doesn't give a fuck about my numerology, but he does ask me what animal the animal one is cool to. I like asking, not that I believe it, but I like the animal shit. Like, if I meet a chick who's an ox and she starts acting stubborn, I like having something to blame it on. Like, oh, it's because you're an ox. But no, I don't think I will ever promote that. Like, that shit is hilarious to me. That, like, what is it? Just Gary? It's just Gary. Everyone else under Gary is like ruining their lives with that shit. It's like, Gary's the only one who, in his matrix, numerology is working, right? Because he's got a show with Fresh. It's got to be working if your business partner is Fresh, right? always got to shit on Fresh because they shit on me on their show. So fuck them.
Are you cool with? I don't know when you started to not be mates with Sneeko. Like when did that
Oh,
happen?
it's when the Aiden Ross clip where he calls me a pedo and everyone defends me except Sneeko because he's sitting next to him. And I don't watch the clip. It's like muted. So I let 8 months go by until you guys send me the clip again, which is I commented on the clip, but usually I comment without even watching the clip because it's like I already know what these guys are gonna say. I want to go back to my day. I use Twitter like quickly. And that's my mistake. When I saw the clip like was it 4 months ago? I was like, and for the first 2 months, I didn't care. I was still on vacation mode. But man, it just cooked me. I was like, what the fuck kind of job interview could Aiden have for you that you don't stand up for me, and you've stood up for me before. It wouldn't even be inconsistent. It was like, but standing up for me doesn't matter if you do it on your channel. It's not a big deal. But if someone is blatantly calling you that, I don't know if he's a pedo, but he's saying shit like that. And I just see him sitting there, and in a weird way, when you're homies, it's like, yeah, my homie doesn't stand up for me, but at least he got the job. I have that thing where it's like, at least Sneeko made some money off that. He didn't even make money. He didn't even get the job interview or whatever he was trying to do. So it was like a double failure. Not only did he not defend me, but he didn't get the job he wanted with the Aiden thing. Aiden fucked him over and he starts crying to me. And I forget about it. I still help the guy out. And then the clip resurfaces. And my anger fucking explodes. I'm like, what the fuck am I doing defending this clown of a human being? And it's one of those clips where it's like, yeah, I could be cool with him in the future. Not that I want to, but he is so weak and so like in front of Aiden, he's so weak. Aiden is my mortal enemy. Like, what the fuck? He's so weak in that clip that I cannot wash it out of my head. I can't wash the weakness out of my head. And then I forgot about the clip, to be honest. Like, I really forgave him and didn't give a fuck. But he started doing the Mandani thing with Islamic thing. And for me, nothing gets me more angry than Muslims pretending they believe in God. No Muslim actually believes in God. Like they're coping animals. They believe in their hierarchy. It's like a war religion. They're trying to implement their fucking Sharia deep down. They don't they what's funny is they're conscious enough for the war aspects of it, and they can be so dangerous as people to be around. Like if you've ever seen Speaker's Corner, they turn into a group soul very quickly, unlike the whites. And it's just fucking embarrassing how if you've ever seen lower levels of consciousness group up together, you cannot feel bad for them. Well, you should feel bad for them because if you're a lower level of consciousness, chances are you're going to suffer a lot. Like you're not going to suffer towards evolution. You're going to suffer in a different way, which is sad. If you tell a human, hey, you're suffering, but you're evolving, they go, okay, I'll keep going. But if you're suffering for other reasons, it's like, whoa, dude, like those people turn to animals, they'll kill you, they're fucked up in the head. And you got to be careful with that. And the cool Muslims you meet, you'll probably forget that they're Muslim. But the worst Muslims you'll meet, they'll keep reminding you. So when Sneako's channel turned into just reminding us, it's like, even if Sneako was like a Christian today, I wouldn't be cool with him because he's so weak. He could just snake. They're under the floorboards. Like he'll snake your whole friends and family, and it's just someone that weak is so easily corrupted. Especially like if the meme in your community is Zherka can be a reckless asshole. Okay, yeah, I'll hang out with Zherka. Myron can be this and Nick can be that. Okay, yeah, they all have their own kind of contradictions and memes to them. But if the meme in your community is that you're a chameleon, like Sneeko, if the meme in your own community is that you don't have truth, you just follow the red pill way, follow this way. If the meme in your own community is that the creator is a chameleon, then that's a dangerous human being to be around. And like that's like my big regret is not that I have regrets, but I should have known. And been like, they're gonna multiply, they're gonna outbreed, they're gonna be around all that. Like, we should have never done that. We should.
I think with yo, can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Go ahead.
I think with Sneeko, what you said about him having this rotten nature, I mean, it goes to show, I mean, how he treated you compared to Aiden. I mean, you did so much more for
Yeah,
Sneeko
I
than
did too much, bro.
yeah.
I did way too much.
And then he turns his back on you. It's like, dude, like that run you guys did in 2023, bro. Like you can't top that collab that you and Sneaker had. And you probably taught him a lot of things about just everything in life, right? And you tried your absolute best to bring him to Christ, but he just, wasn't going through his thick skull. And for him to just do that, I mean, yeah, I mean, yeah, you have every right to just like,
I mean, to tell you the truth, I didn't try to bring him to the Christ because I still have personality defects. One of my personality defects is if I know someone's like a weakling, like their mind can be changed. I don't want them on my team. I would much rather he comes to the Christ at 40, 50 years old. I genuinely, anytime I was alone with him, I would never preach to him. I just said God, the God of Earth evolution is the Christ, and that's all I ever said. I never repeated it. I never wanted him to join. I felt like he's like on shaky grounds with his soul. He doesn't know where the fuck he's going in life. And another thing, he doesn't want something that involves ego consciousness. He wants group consciousness. That's why he wants to be around the Muslims so much, and which is sad because how can your religion ever be sexy to someone if they don't want to be alone? They want to be around sweaty Muslims, and that's probably like the biggest turnoff of Christianity is that it's towards ego consciousness. Solo player. It's not towards group player as much as people want to say it's group player. It's not, and that's why it gets, no matter how you slice it, it's always going to look like a lot more lonely of a energy than to be around some sweaty goat fuckers. That's the truth. But it's also kind of embarrassing to say, you're going backwards in consciousness, right? And it's not even going to fully fit. Like, I have a feeling the Muslims are going to turn on Sneeko and expunge him. They're going to pitchfork him. And do I want Sneeko on the Christian side? No, because he has a problem with like white people, and he no matter how much he says he doesn't see it that way, he associates that with the Christ force, and it's like that's not normal. Like Myron doesn't have a problem with white people. It's like that's a you thing, and psychologically speaking, this thing only has one flaw really, and that he has a lot of evil, like pure evil, where you can see it when he's talking about Indians. You can see it when he's talking about certain things he doesn't like, and like in a weird way, when Zherka insults Muslims, it's kind of like a group hug too. Like it's kind of like me helping them towards their evolution. But when Stiko does it, it's very different than when Nick does it or Myron. He does it when he goes after a group of people, he's doing it like in his head, he's fantasizing about turning the knife in their stomach. Um, and there's evil in Sneeko's eyes too, in a weird, not all the time, but he has 1 hour of the day where he thinks he's Genghis Khan or something. He gets possessed by something, so you can see some dark circles under his eyes, some
Did you
darkness.
see my photo?
Mm.
You commented on one of my like my bit before and after, like when I was a Muslim, I had like those dark circles under my eyes, and
Oh,
then
that
like
was you.
yeah, that's me, yeah,
Oh, wow.
yeah. You can tell like it's definitely something spiritual. Like you can see it in the eyes, and Jesus says, the eyes are the windows of the soul, and if you've got darkness in you, it's going to show it in your eyes, and
Yeah,
you can see that in Sneaker and like all these other Muslim guys. Like they've got this rage,
yeah,
bloodthirsty. Like as much as like they appear righteous outwardly, but in the inside, there's like so much evil. Like they want to do this Sharia law stuff, take over the world, and subjugate Christians. Because that's what I think Islam is here in the first place. It's just to destroy Christianity and to have them
Wait.
humiliated.
Can I chime in on this?
yeah. Go ahead.
I'm just curious. Okay, so
Make it good content. Tell him, no, I disagree, bro.
no, this guy's ancestors converted mine. He's Turkish, isn't he? Are you Turkish? Yeah, you're Turkish.
Yeah, look, I'm
I'm
Turkish, but
Bosnian.
born
Yeah,
and
I'm
born and
Bosnian. So you fuckers. No, I'm kidding. No, I'm curious. So like Christ is God. Why would he create 2 billion plus Muslims? Like make it make sense.
Yeah, it's really easy. If you ask a modern Christian, they'll say something like, "Well, everyone stuck on an island has been gifted scripture," and that's actually wrong, right? If you look into the esoteric aspects of Christology, A Muslim has to remain a Muslim. I'm sorry to hurt your feelings, Christian. A Buddhist has to remain a Buddhist. And depending on where you incarnated, that is your moral framework for your evolution. You chose that because it's the most beneficial to you. That's why you defend it so hard instinctually. Now, in the future, which one is the highest level? If all these pieces towards God are somewhat of like guardrails of how the soul evolves, which one has, the most pieces, or let's say the total answer? The total answer would be the one at the highest level of the pyramid of consciousness, which is Christianity. So that's why your people, Bosnians, Albanians, whatever, are more primitive than Germans. That's just how the game works. And a lot of people are like, well, this sounds like soul science is racist. It's not. For example, why is Zherka not a racist? Like, does Zherka genuinely want the worst for black people? No, because Zherka knows he can be incarnated if he wants a certain skill set as a black guy in the future. And if black people have major problems in the future, Zherka's incarnation is going to suck. That's why you want every color to do good in society. How do you get every color to do good in society? Let the white man lead because he's at the highest level of consciousness. That's how it's always been. In ancient Indian times, we'd let Indians lead so we'd get the new fucking power ups, the clairvoyant power ups. And this has been talked about by many people, although it always turns into white man bootlicking. And I'm not saying it's a white man bootlicking thing. There's a lot of white people who are fucking their cousins. There's a lot of, those kind of people in trailer parks. But I'm talking about the highest levels of consciousness, though, which are not really the Christians. It's going to be the atheists again, right? Or it's going to be mobilized Christians who are not really preachy. But if you look at the pyramid, what's under, let's say, the atheist for the religious people on earth? Yes, Christians are at a much higher level of consciousness than Muslim people. And that's not something that you should ever be like, well, let me see Dr. Steiner's work to understand this. You should know this by opening your fucking eyes, you idiot. You should open your eyes and say, that makes a lot of sense, actually. Right?
No, no,
And
I agree with you because, like you were saying earlier, it has like the freedom consciousness. Like Christianity does have that, which kind of like makes me gravitate towards it. Since I grew up in the West, I'm living like a free lifestyle versus somebody that's like growing up, fucking Pakistan. I don't know. I feel like they're more stuck. They're trapped in that consciousness where they don't have the freedom.
yeah, and it's not just humans. There's also animals are at different layers of consciousness, and then it goes into sub, which is unconsciousness. Animals who are pretty much unconscious, right? There's so many of these layers. Now, check this out. Why it's super dangerous to be racist, and why the Lord hates racism, is because some people have head starts and others don't, depending on the age, like what you've gone through, certain experiences you've had. Like, for example, at the end of all this, when you're at the end of all the self-remembering journey of evolution, when humans are like godlike in power, they would find everything Zerka talks about right now in this period of the timeline, 2026. They would find me to be a demon because they'd say, oh, Zerka still divided people on race. But yeah, at the end of the timeline, that's how it works. At this part of the timeline, you got to divide people. If Zerka held a conference with just Muslims to talk about this, they'd fucking kill me with pitchforks. Obviously, to stay alive in the incarnation, I have to talk like this, where I go, I'm not going to do a Muslim meet and greet. I think that's a horrible idea, actually. And why does Zerka even add the racial remarks to his free speech channel? It's just so you guys can all be shocked when Zerka's the only channel that's not pro-war. You go, that guy's so filled with war. He'll fight on the streets. He'll do whatever. Why is he telling me to be anti-war right now? Oh, because he actually wants to evolve my soul. He actually understands his karmic effect. He's not just winging it. And a lot of you guys are going to realize that, yes, Nick, as much as Nick has many reasons why he's anti war, something he can never tell you about because he's just too young to understand this is, and I mean like spiritually, I'm saying Nick doesn't realize the real reason he's anti war, anti Jew war hawk agendas for the Middle Eastern wars. The real reason is because Nick has a moral core to him. that won't him, he'll justify it and say, I love war, but this is the reason I'm against this one, and it's the Jews. And he'll justify it in a million ways. But the truth is, he's a moral character on earth. And Myron is anti-war. That's a moral human being on earth. Sneeko is moral right now, although a few weeks ago he was sounding a lot different, right? Or if Muslims came into power by let's say by sword, Sneeko would be all for it if his side is winning. Whereas if Zherka's side's winning, Zherka would still say war is wrong, right? And people would be like, well, it's because you incarnated in a war zone. And no, that's not the real reason. The real reason is some people are more in tune with their souls and others are more in tune with their personalities. And by the way, all those personalities that you have that form into one eventually has to fuse with your inner soul. Like the outer and the inner is the same, and they cannot be contradicting each other, because you will, by the end of it, you will lose your fucking soul doing that. The marks you make on your subtle energy body when you take a firm stance against war, these are the most important soul marks you can make. And if you don't know what I mean by soul marks, is look at a human's face. You can see what they think about. Have you seen those channels that talk about psycho-spiritual health and wisdom, and you laugh at them? You go, well, how come Zherka, the whole internet loves when he talks about it, but when other people talk about it, it's cringe. And it's because their facial features don't match their soul. Basically, you can see through their facial features what they think about. If someone looks very goofy on the face, you definitely don't want to trust that person for any kind of wise advice, because you can see their face hasn't rested in any kind of pain, any kind of crystallized suffering. You can see that their face is not a wise face, right? It's kind of like when you see monkey traits on a face, and big bug eyes and all that, and you go, I don't trust this guy for this stuff, but when he plays Minecraft, he's very funny. I can trust him for his Minecraft content, and it's kind of like if Zerka's laughing all the time, his face would change. It would literally change into a more jester, joker like face. The lines on your face show to people what you think about constantly. And so how can you trust someone? How can you trust someone? For example, if someone has a really evil looking face, not that you should judge them, but they also have evil tendencies and they speak in an evil way, you can see it from the face, but you probably had a feeling before they even opened up that fucking mug. And so if you see someone's face is rested in something goofy energy, chances are they think of goofy things all the time. If you see someone's face, like a Zerka can talk about perverted things all day and he doesn't have a pervert face. Why doesn't he? It's because he doesn't think of perverted things and he doesn't actually chase the women. If he does, it's for content, it's for other reasons, but he doesn't occupy himself with women at all. You could see it in Zerka's face. Now, if you look at Heel Mike's face, you can see he only thinks about women. And it's like not a bad thing. He's in a phase of his life or whatever, but you can see people's faces change shape with what they think about all day. And it takes not months, it takes years, but it gets carved into the face. That's why some people look like shaman leaders. You want to hit follow on them. Other people look like jesters who are just chasing tail. You're like, oh, you know what? This is too much girl content, whatever. And believe it or not, everyone you meet in life, you're judging them off their soul, their face, right? It's not the best thing to do if you're a paranoid fucking schizophrenic, but it's also kind of like, not to shit on my dad here, but Alex Jones. Look at his face. You can tell that that's not an honest face. I'm not saying that he's lying. I'm just saying that he's speaking before verifying the fucking truth. And that, remember, when you lie a lot, that it looks like a pent up thing, like a pent up face, like a constipated face. Same with the sleepy eyes phenomenon. You meet a lot of wise people who have that sleepy eye look, that almost like that stoner look. And you walk around, follow them around. You want them like as a big bro, and you want to be around them. They got that sleepy look, meaning they're really been traumatized by how their thinking is developed, how their consciousness is going. And but you know that they've gone far, far ass places in their thinking, and you try and get the truth out of them and they never give it to you. Those sleepy-eyed motherfuckers will never give it to you. Have you ever noticed that? And because they want you to get there yourself, or else there's no point to it. There's also guys who have you seen Sneeko when he thinks of anything warlike? he turns into us versus them right in the face. Is very different than when Nick is talking about us and them, right? And I'm talking about degrees that, there's degrees of evil, and Stinko can go to very dark places. He's a very dark incarnation, very low levels of dark, excuse me, high levels of dark, but where it's like, I'm not talking about like genius, dark scientist, evil. I'm talking about like he can easily be manipulated, like to the point where he's more dangerous than a nuclear weapon. He's super dangerous to the youth. Yeah, the way the way Sneako's trajectory has been the last 2 years compared to Myron or Nick, it's shocking how much Myron and Nick have matured, right? Where Myron's actually the fun channel for Jews. A lot of Jews watch the channel, him dancing and all that, and it's a fun thing. It's not hate filled, even though it's very easy to go that way. It's really not. And then Sneakles is something about power. Something happened to him as a kid. Is very like taking you to hell, but not in a he's snaking you kind of way. In a he's already there himself. Like you can tell Sneakles in
Yo,
hell.
yo, Zherka.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
met
What's
I
up?
met Sneeko 2 summers ago. What was your first impression of him? Because I only met him for a couple minutes, and I thought he was pretty nice and genuine. But then again, only a couple minutes. So what the fuck do I know, right?
Yeah, I remember meeting him with Arab and Yassine, and they were being treated really poorly by him. But I didn't know that at the time until they told me later, like that he was, I guess he's a bigger YouTube channel or whatever. But I just walked in, and back then I was doing my push-ups and shit, and Sneeko looked up at me. He's like, "How the fuck are you jacked as fuck if you don't work out?" And back then I guess I was a little more jacked, although not really compared to the good old days. No, it was like computer jacked. It was like we were doing some push-ups and streaming. But I just remember Sneeko own the first second he saw me was, oh, this guy's taller than me. I think we're the same height, but he feels that. He feels like, oh, this guy's taller than me and more jacked, more heavy. And his first thing was an outer thing. He didn't look right into me. He looked at the external too much, right? And for me, I was going through a breakup, so I ignored Sneeko. I was like, what up, man? And I ignored him. I kind of got through the content, like, let's get this over with. And I was dealing with a breakup, and I put her on the TV. She was like, she had her mom on the screen and all that. And Sneeko, Arab, and Yassine and me were watching me go through the breakup. So all three of the boys could tell that my heart's not really into the content thing. I was going through my own kind of phase in life. And so my energy was more like ignoring them. I had a war with this bitch. If she's trying to fucking leak me, I'll leak her, shit like that. It was just like high school shit. And which is the greatest way to meet Sneeko. Because if you ever meet Sneeko and ignore him, he becomes your best friend. And I'm ignoring him for this fucking chick that's lying about me online. And I was like, bro, I don't want to do fucking YouTube with you guys. I want to respond to this bitch on my shit. And they're like, dude, do that after, do that after. And obviously, I want to defend my name because Twitch admin's going to ban me quickly. And she's saying, oh, he abuses me. He says this about me, but I'm going to meet him. I'm going to give him a piece of my mind. And so I ignore the fuck out of Sneeko. And I don't ignore Yassine or Arab because I knew them, right? So they're a part of my life a bit from the TwitchCon. And I totally forgot that I ignored him. It was like a rude thing. But he would have anyone going through that much drama would have ignored the fucking Sneeko in the room too. Like, come on, like he just walks in. You would ignore it too if someone's trying to get you banned off Twitch, right? You would be hyper focused on what is this bitch lying about? What's the tweet I'm gonna use to defend my name and shit like that. And we were, Yassine's helping me and all that. And then I just do the favor because Yassine's like, hey man, Sneeko came here, he needs you to do some content. I was like, all right, let's go do the favor. And the whole energy is this guy's ignoring the fuck on me. This guy doesn't give a fuck about me, and I just got banned. So I guess Sneeko saw me as a really cool guy because he loves people who don't like him. He's one of those weirdos who, like, if I meet you, you don't like me, I don't fuck with you at all. But Sneako's those kind of people that if you meet him and you don't fuck with him, he goes, wow, you are like a mystery, bro, or some shit like that. And I pick up the chicks, and this is all external too. He's floored, he's shocked by it. Like that I picked those two girls up, I put them on their knees, and he's like, dude, they're blondes and I'm so used to that. And then I go back to my drama, and he's shocked by it. And I remember making a mental note where I'm like, why is the most important thing in this guy's life women? Like, because at that point in my life it was more content oriented, so I was like, they respect this guy's been in the YouTube game for a while, we can learn stuff. And his was all about women, 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 because he's bored of the YouTube game by then. And I remember thinking it's all external. He doesn't know anything internal about me. It's just what he saw on the outside, picking up chicks, all this shit. And then I got to read that this is all he cares about, and that's what makes him successful. And you meet a lot of like characters. Like I like Logan Paul a lot, but you meet a lot of the guys at the top. They're really about the external, how things appear, not the internal. They're not going to do a deep dive analysis. They're not like that soul. They're not about soul science or any of that, right? Which is how you stay guarded in the world. And I still remember thinking like, Sneeko reminds me of like this. If you could have a twin brother incarnate with you, that he reminds me of like a twin brother that went into a different universe. He went a total different direction, but he was so fucking into the red pill and in a fanatical way. Like he had that look of that ISIS look in his eyes. And because I still remember he found my opinion so fucking mystifying. Like, well, why do you think that? Or why this? Why? And it was all off camera too. So I'm like, oh, this guy's like, maybe he's one of those gay zoomers who are like new to the red pill and he's rabbit holing it fast. And I saw so much potential in that because I back then I didn't think people transform. I was so new to this, so I didn't think people have. Have you noticed like streamers have many? You watch Zherka for the last 7 years, you know what you're getting, but you watch streamers and you don't know if they're in a like red pill, purple pill, blue pill. You don't know what. You didn't know that they transform, and you're supposed to transform for the clickbait and shit. So I didn't think he transformed that rapidly. But man, I've had many of my buddies transform. It's not the worst thing in the world when they go their own way. But he went to sweaty Arabs and these same kind of Arabs that like clown this guy. And dude, my whole fan base is like, well, can you make it work? And I'm like, dude, if this guy understood, if this guy ever read a book, if this guy ever experienced any part of the world, if this guy has ever done anything that involves truth, he would know he's going down the darkest rabbit hole. Could you imagine a worse rabbit hole than Islam? Like, there's the worst one. It's so bad that rockets hit Iran, dude. Imagine being part of that iota. Dude, imagine being part of that. And Iran was like peaceful. They're not doing shit for like many years. They're just chilling and they still got rocketed because they build up such negative karma, right? Not that you should ever try and see the world as good and bad karma. You're not God. You're not supposed to ever play that role, right? The Christ is the Lord of karma. You should never think, oh, Iran got hit, so they have bad karma. But yes, it's this. These spiritual wars are not random. They're driven by impulses and spirits and thoughts like that. So it's like I guarantee you that in a year, Sneaker will be in over his head so hard with this Islamic shit that we got to pray for the guy because he's going to put himself in danger. And it's like I never thought he'd be the largest channel. It felt like Sasuke and Naruto. It felt like Sasuke and Naruto. I'm like, wait a minute. My whole channel is to defend against these stupid goat fuckers, and my good friend that I came up with, Sneeko, is on the other side. He's like the Senju clan, and we're the Uchiha. And it's like, wait a minute. I built the Frankenstein's monster. Like I emboldened it, although Tate is really to blame, right? Tate, Nick's friend, Tate. Like, what the fuck? We should have never been friends with that fucking bald clown. But I guess it's smart because he has a lot of followers. I guess it's smart to play it like that. But I'm just saying, he's just done so much evil with that Sony and stuff. And then Sony starts going, well, my YouTube channel is not growing. So if I become a radical meme, it'll grow if I'm a radical white meme. And so he goes down that path where he thinks that he's getting likes by sweaty Arab guys. So therefore he has clout. Remember, if you get a lot of likes on your tweet, because of your being yourself, because you're being yourself, that's super attractive. Everyone goes, damn, he has a whole community. But if you're getting a lot of likes because you're parroting talking points from like an Islamic regime, you're a propagandist. No one respects you, especially the people liking your shit. And I think Sonny's like in a weird place where he needs the likes, like he needs to be like the ratio king. He needs to have the lower levels of consciousness in his corner, which is crazy. But man, they picked the word. There's so many. I think the transgender rabbit hole is easier to get out of than
Okay,
is
but
the Islamic one.
Sonny and Sneeko are very different. But Sneeko often talks about like God can't die, God can't be tempted. Jesus was a man. So like, how do you respond to that? Like, how is Jesus God argument?
Yeah, I wouldn't. I always refer to all true Christology. Do the research in a way where no one can take the truth from you. So, for example, the truth is an inward experience. When I refer you guys to Dr. Steiner's Christology and say, go enter your self remembering journey right there and really dig into it. How can just go start with ChatGPT? Just start with ChatGPT. Say,
Wait,
Dr.
Rudolf Steiner?
Yes,
Okay,
if you
I'll look
you
into it.
you go right into his Christology and you say, "Answer me, how can God die?" And every single answer, not that it'll make sense to you, but every single answer will always be that you have to. It has to be an inward experience that one day you will understand it. One day you will meditate and self-remember to this point. All of it is on you. It should never be on Zherka to explain how does God die. But when you understand that the Christ dying, that in the spiritual world, everything is different. There is no physical might. There's no physical might. There's no body to be, this is my bicep is stronger than yours. It's not matter, it's spiritual. Meaning, the strongest thing you can do in the spiritual world is sacrifice, is die. That is the strongest, highest power level. That is divinity. That is the highest thing you can do. We're not even at the resurrection part, right? And a lot of humans confuse it because they talk about might being a bench press. Yes, on earth, who benches the most is the strong one. But in the spiritual world, it's who sacrifices the most. That is not just the strongest individuality, that is the only individuality because you all have to sacrifice yourselves eventually. You can't, it's like the thing of Muslims don't actually answer the death question at all. And the Christ says, hey, just like how you are driven around by, hey, one day I'm going to die, the Christ has done it before you. As in, it is your story. You get to enter into this story as well. And all these other religions, they don't dare talk about death. They give you vague, stupid shit. They don't tell you that your soul has to become something you sacrifice as an offering. They don't tell you none of that. They don't tell, for example, they asked Steiner, why does the soul desire this? I want this, I want that. All desires must become the opposite of a desire. It must become an offering. Every desire you have eventually has to transform into an offering. That doesn't mean you run from it in the beginning if you have a desire to play football, but it must become a love offering. Like Ronaldo desired playing football. Now he's at the point where his desire transforms into offering. He offers his skill set to his children, right? He like passes it on and they go enter higher levels of ego consciousness with this loving principle where it's like you're passing it on. Same with Khabib training. He's now a trainer, but he used to love fighting, right? And then now his desire turned into an offering that he's offering that skill set to his team that he's training. Everything you do is going to evolve in this way, but ultimately it's going to be you're going to tap out of earth. You're going to die, and when you die, it has to be a part of the Christian mysteries. It cannot be no Islamic shit, cannot be no Buddhist shit. That's why we all, as men, fantasize of going out by sacrificing ourselves for our friends and family. Like everyone has that fantasy, right? You just get blasted inside of a church protecting a child. Everyone has that fantasy. Why? Why does everyone have that fantasies, that desire that transforms into sacrifice, right? Into offering, that's being fulfilled at the highest archetypal level in that fantasy. It's different for everyone because, for example, a golfer, a tennis player, an army guy, and surgeon, they all have different sacrifices they're going to make. So a lot of people try and ask me, well, what should I do with my life? And it's like, dude, you have to self-remember what you're supposed to do. I can't self-remember for you, you fucking idiot. Right. And or you could do like, for example, a lot of people don't realize, Gary, as dumb as you guys think he is and all that, he actually is doing what he incarnated to do. Like the numbers, he is loving thought, or his Swedenborg would call this his love is numbers. And so you don't dare take that love from him, right? Especially a part of the Christian mysteries. It's like if someone has a love of football, you don't dare take that ball from that child. If someone has a love for something, the number one Christian rule is you don't dare take numerology away from Gary. Now, it is bad if he's like misleading people, but I'm saying Gary's love for numbers when he's alone in his room, that is Christianity in its totality, where it's like you don't tell a young Gary to not be obsessed with numbers. Same with Epstein. He loved numbers, right? I'm saying your love in private cannot be taken from you, you know, and the love can change. You have love for other things, but you look into Swedenborg's writing, right? Your love at your current moment is connected to your faith, right? It's your everything. Like a young Zherka's love for Dragon Ball. I know a lot of people get angry with this. They're like, why always Dragon Ball? And it's like, well, I don't know. What did you grow up? You know, some of you guys grew up with Power Rangers. Like mine is Dragon Ball. And I don't mean just Dragon Ball. I mean, mine is Dragon Ball to the point where it's philosophical, where my adult brain is into Dragon Ball more than my child brain, which it's almost impossible to say that because if you ever see a child's eyes watching Dragon Ball, and because you're really constructing what your future is going to look like, and you need those archetypal energies. Like, for example, the love a man has for Vegeta is mediated by the Christ force. So your love of skateboarding is a Christian love, even if you're an atheist, right? That's why God is called love and life. If Tony Hawk says, "Hey, you know, I'm on here to skateboard and I can't tell you why I do it. I love to do it." Well, he's telling you he spent 40, 50, 60 years of his life with loving thought forms freely skateboarding. He's telling you what his life is. Why is Jesus Christ called the life? Because anything you love that becomes your life is your path, you fucking idiot. I feel like Nick is the only one to understand this, where they're like, you should have become a priest. And he said, I love politics. And what was he saying there? That my life will be politics. My Christ will be politics. And Nick could even he even says he could sacrifice himself for his love. Mossad could kill him for it, right? Which is fulfilling the mysteries totally, right? Not that knock on wood, that should not happen. I always got to knock on wood for no one else but Nick. But I'm telling you guys that when you say, "Oh, I hate my life," you're really saying you hate the Christ, right? You guys don't realize your words. You don't realize what you're doing in the world. And your love, whatever it is, some people say, well, what about World of Warcraft? Zherka, I love it. And it's like, no, you don't, because you didn't get anything from it. You can tell someone loves it because it pays back. There's World of Warcraft channels who they loved it so much, but they couldn't go pro. But they started talking about it on YouTube and they have 10 million subscribers. Do you see how they loved World of Warcraft? That's why it comes out as 10 million. You don't just listen to someone talk about a game for no reason. He loves the game the most. That's why he gets all the views, right? And you're going to see that for a lot of things. You're going to be like, whoa, what the fuck? So then God is just giving people infinite levels of blessings all the time as they're evolving towards the light. And it never ends, where there you can always get more blessings. There's higher revelation always. Yes, even beyond the stars, even when you don't look human anymore, when you start to look like something else, even when you start to look like an Atlantean, it keeps going. That's the whole point of it. The whole point of it is about meaning. It's connected to love, where you don't realize the blessings a human can get because you think of it as a human blessing another human. And it's not, that is not what's happening. You know, you could bless someone, you could love someone. You will never bless someone or love someone the way God does the game. The game that God does is very different from the way, like for you, it's like, oh, I bought this guy a Ferrari because I loved him. That is not divine love. Divine love is not only does he get the Ferrari, but he gets infinite worlds of just succession and progression towards higher thought forms that build flying Ferraris. It just keeps evolving and it spirals into a higher octave. So a lot of people are like, if it spirals, can't you get bored of it? It's like, no, you could get bored of it if it was spiraling, but it's at a higher octave every single time, right? That's why you didn't get bored of Super Saiyan 1. Even when it became Super Saiyan 2, it became more awesome. Then Super Saiyan 3, and so on. And you're like, well, it's got to get boring after 3. And we hate GT, but holy shit, is Super Saiyan 4 badass. And well, it's got to end there. It's not like they could just change the color. And no, we love Super Saiyan God blue. We love red first, then blue. And it's so on. And when Goku comes out with a rainbow aura, new transformation in 10 years from now, we're gonna love that too. Because we talk shit about Ultra Instinct, not the first one, but not signed, but the mastered. But we love that too. We just keep loving things, unless you're those bitter people that, you know, like I say, a real Dragon Ball fan says Super Saiyan 1 is always going to be the most badass form. That's, if you're a real fan, the Super Saiyan 4, and if you're a true fan, Kaioken's even cooler. In a weird or false Super Saiyan in the Lord Slug movie is just so badass, right? But if you're a real fan, you also want your children being a part of it, and children need the blue and the red forms and the new shit and the Jirens and all that. So you want to spread that love. And people don't realize, they're like, well, Zerka, isn't this kind of hippie that it just never ends and this loving architecture has to just keep growing? And it's like, you know, you'd be shocked if you lived my life, because you'd be like, dude, he has everything. But there's still more to Zerka. Like, what the fuck? And it's like, you can close yourself off from blessings too. Did you know most Muslims they close themselves off, bro? They look at Chinese people who are very spiritual, even though they're atheists. They live in quiet homes. They're in a meditative state all day, even when they're working. They're higher levels of consciousness. They get a lot of things done. Dude, I'm telling you, don't think you're born into, if you're born in some Islamic country and you listen to this, just go to the further steps of ego consciousness. Don't get stuck down there.
Yo, John, about that, I was thinking a lot of your content is based on individuation. And if you come from a group that's not all that religious, how does their, what's it called, the group collective unconscious affect you in your individuation process?
Well, it depends. Are you talking about Swedish people?
No, like, I mean, I'm Albanian. Let's say
Yeah.
Albanian.
Albanian. So what? A lot of people say that's like a Muslim place. Although if you ask an Albanian guy, they'll say they're not really religious at all.
Yeah, I mean, we're not like a religious people all that much, but like,
Yeah. So what it becomes about folklore and more gossip in the town of what's going on. It becomes more tribal like that. You guys talk about the money and all the like lower level consciousness things. We talk about that. So especially me when I'm back home, I hear people talk about the businesses and who made money and who did this. And it's like, there's nothing, if you're popping out into ego consciousness, you're going to have this disdain, almost like you find your people to be kind of not beautiful anymore to you, because it's like, oh, they really just want to drink their tea and gossip all day. And you see this with a lot of humans just grow up one day, and they 21 years old, they go, I don't really like where I'm from. It seems like everyone's like, they think backwards, they're into stuff that I'm not into. That's a lonely thing to experience, man. Because, bro, once you're at that level of consciousness, people are like, oh, this is so cool. Now I get to do what Zerka did. No, now your life gets extremely lonely. You get really depressed. I mean, what is the first few years of ego consciousness, the worst years of your fucking life? Because you can't explain your ideas to people. They'll just look at you like a monkey. You cannot really love anything because you're like, oh, I don't really know what love is. You don't know nothing. And that's why every single human being, including Logan Paul, if you hear him in the new podcast, they only have one thing they can do from that lonely position where they feel, on their own 2 feet in the world. And it's a terrifying feeling. The only thing that ever makes that feeling better is becoming extremely successful. Like I'm talking about these people put their, have you seen a lonely human being when they start working on their YouTube channel? Have you seen how many YouTubers, Twitch streamers talk about the loneliest, most lonely period of their COVID? They become the biggest channels on earth. And it doesn't really go away, the loneliness thing, not for a long time. But yeah, once you feel that you're into ego consciousness, where at a point where you can't hang around your friends, family, your tribe, you can't do none of that, then that love you have, whatever it is. So for Ronaldo, it was football, right? That's the only way you can communicate love to the world. It was that. And for a lot of people, it'll be like the best example I always talk about is the YouTuber, because holy shit, is it lonely becoming a YouTuber? Do you know how fucking alone you have to be to talk to a camera all day before you even have some people in your chat? And you gotta make that shit work. And all those weeks and months, sometimes even years of loneliness turn into like this blur. And you just get through it to the point where, oh, I made it on the other side. That now I've got a bit of a chat. Now I can, and you realize, oh shit, I didn't have a girlfriend, I didn't have friends, I didn't have anything feeding my soul for those years because I was trying to make YouTube work. And you freak the fuck out thinking to yourself, like, what other choice did I have? And you look at your hometown buddies and they're still doing the same shit. And you immediately realize, oh shit, dude, you don't want to be your hometown friends, but they're not lonely. You know, they're playing cards at a cafe at Starbucks. And so it's crazy to say, but the most lonely time when you're in an extremely lonely period of your life, if that's not getting transmuted and you're just spinning your tires, you don't know how much harm you're doing. That's how people jump off bridges. But if that loneliness is transmuting to something higher, you can actually go to bed with a smile and say, you know what, not today. Man, I don't need those thoughts today. I'll put them. And man, the whole world bows at you. Women, like everyone fucks with you. Everyone wants to be your friend because they go, he's turned to stone with his loneliness. His heart is cold. He is crazy. This guy's a man. But yeah, what do I tell people who are like from a small town or a small country or whatever? Your country is gay. All right. Anything that keeps you in group consciousness. I don't care if it's Islam, I don't care. Whatever it is, anything that keeps you at lower levels of consciousness is horrible for you. It's disgust. It's like you want to go play mahjong all day with your Chinese buddies. You want to go play cards all day with those fucking Albanians. You want to play cards at the fucking ice cream shop. And no, you don't want to do that, right? Is Elon Musk at higher levels of ego consciousness? Yes. How do you know that? You can tell he's been very alone in his life. Even when he speaks, you can hear a lonely guy talking, right? Or the way, the amount of partners, the amount of girlfriends he's had, he's been very alone, Now it's like, now he's coming back into it. Now he's trying to build a family and all that, for the last 10 years. But that's why I tell people, I'm like, ego consciousness is never a good thing. It's a terrifying thing. If you don't have a symbol for your libido and your energy and where it's pointed to, you are so fucked, man. You don't know how Dragon Ball has the answers. In Dragon Ball, before you look at Dragon Ball, Google Dragon Ball characters before they transform. If you see what they go through before they transform, for example, everyone says, why is Vegeta the most poetic story ever told? Is it a Dragon Ball story? It's not an anime story. The story of Vegeta is not poetic because it fits like some shonen jump framework that I'm trying to make it fit. None of that. I'm talking about look at your life. Have you ever worked your ass off, lost your friends, family, everything, your lineage, your bloodline, everything instinctual, even your sanity, for one thing to happen in your life? So, for example, for Vegeta, he loses all of that in order for him to become a Super Saiyan at a higher level of consciousness to reach Goku, a low level, someone who's not even inherited this energy. How the fuck is a low level beating him? This is madness. And Vegeta is the most poetic character, not in anime, but in all of fictional history. which it's not even fiction, it's real. If you know what Jung, it's like, if you understand world thought, you know that these are spirits. You'll understand that when Vegeta, at the age of 33 years old, like Jesus Christ, right? No, not that I'm comparing, but when Vegeta finally enters ego consciousness and turns into a Super Saiyan, the first thing that happens when the whole world bows to him and says, holy shit, all of that 33, not 5 years, but not 10 years, not 15, 33 years of suffering. He lost his whole family, every friend he had, everything for this transformation. As soon as he gets this transformation, what happens to him? He has a smile for the first time in his life, a huge grin, a grin that says, it was worth all that pain. And what's the first thing that happens to him to make him the most relatable human character? Not saying to us humans. Why is he so relatable? A woman flies up and breaks his fucking arm in front of everyone, and his ego shatters. As soon as he comes into ego consciousness with his Super Saiyan transformation, Android 18, who's half human, half android, she flies up as a new character and snaps his arm in half. It falls down limp. And do you know what that does to a misogynist Saiyan who says a woman randomly flew up and broke the strongest character? He was the strongest character in the universe at that point. So 33 years of him busting his ass to be ruined in 5 seconds where she didn't even break a sweat. I think one of the strands of her hair moves. It is the most, when as a child watching that, everyone in my neighborhood said this level of writing is higher than Shakespeare because Vegeta going through all that for 33 years, why it feels so heavy to anyone who grew up watching it is because there's a lot of filler too. There's a lot of push-ups and all this stuff we have to get through. There's so much shit. It felt like we're 33 years old with Vegeta, even when we were 10 years old. We're like, dude, it took so many episodes for us to get a cool episode of our favorite character, right? It took, and remember, the good guys are murderers in this show. Like when they get the upper hand, they kill people. So this show's extremely realistic. Just like in history, the good guys would, chop your head off, right? What do you think Alexander the Great would have done if he, this is Dragon Ball's the only show where the good guys will enjoy murdering someone. You should see the good guys get the upper hand. They enjoy murdering people, and you're like, well, not all of them. Not someone more conscious like Gohan. Even look at Teen Gohan, the most pure character. Look what he does to the Cell Juniors. He doesn't even think twice. He just knows he has to murder. And I'm talking about he's murdering children. That's the poetry of the show is that Akira is like the most pure of heart Saiyan Gohan, who doesn't even like to fight. He only transformed to Super Saiyan 2 to protect his family and friends. But the most pure of heart character murders children. This is why we love Anakin Skywalker. He murders younglings. Not that that's a good thing, but that it shows what the human's capable of if they snap. And it always has to do with the fragmentation, the disintegration of ego consciousness. But why I always bring it back to Vegeta is, dude, just like the man putting the boulder up the hill, that is your life. That when you achieve what you're trying to do in life, some random woman's gonna come and snap your heart in half, just like 18 did Vegeta. And bro, before you guys who've never watched the series, you guys are like, well, that is, good. That's better than the Iliad with Achilles. That's really good writing. It is good writing, but let me tell you why it's good writing. When this woman breaks the strongest character's arm in 10 seconds, she does it as someone who we have no idea who the fuck she is. Like, no, we know some androids come, but they're just new characters. And she does it without, they can't even power up. These androids don't power up. They don't do none of that. She does it on a whim. She does it on a whim. Like it's that much of a power difference. That's exactly how humans go through life. Like, dude, whatever you're trying to do, for some reason, when you pop off, horrible shit's gonna happen to you, like freak levels of shit. And you're gonna be like, this pain shit never ends. And yeah, at the end of Z, is it worth it? No, because Vegeta looks up and he says, Goku, he says, Kakarot, you are better than me. He literally gives it to Goku. That his the only thing keeping him breathing is trying to beat Goku. And at the end, he admits it that he's inferior. That is the greatest writing of any character in history, because a lot of you guys are gonna go for it in life. You're gonna maybe make $1 million, and then you're gonna lose it all, and then you're just never gonna recover, and your life will be shattered, and your life will be a tragedy. And a lot of people don't realize that, yeah, life in 1 week can go from something normal to a huge tragedy, and you can go to 70 years old without ever fixing it.
Yo,
So many fucking people go their whole lives never fixing that one tragedy. And it's like, what do you tell those people? What can you tell them?
all right, so that actually just happened to me. The whole losing the million, blah blah blah. I'm kind of stuck in the rut. So what would you recommend? Would you recommend like study philosophy and shit like that, or what would you do?
Yeah, it's always an answer of time, like you guys who lose it all, win it all, shit like that. When has anyone ever answered something that's sufficient? You ask for help. When has anyone ever been able to give you help? No one can give you help. It's an evolution of the soul thing. Like, for example, if you lose all your money, all of it on whatever, did you know that's the best thing that ever happened to you for your soul? Even though superficially, just on the finance side, it's the worst thing. you know like, for example, if you could see things from the other side, or with spiritual vision, you'd be like, oh, I'm glad it happened to me. But you also have to live with the fact that you're broke for the rest of your life, so don't forget that part. That's the tricky part, that your inner man will be calm, where it's like, okay, this was supposed to happen to me. But your outer man will say, hey, my personality says this fucking sucks, I wanted to buy shit. I wanted to buy shit. And a lot of these people, like I always say, you can tell someone loses all their money when they're ruled by it. Like, it's very hard to imagine a Zherka going broke because he doesn't care about money. But it's very easy to imagine Andrew Tate going broke, dead broke. I don't know why. He's good at making it, but he values it too much. So there's a huge lesson he can learn from having it stripped. Like, he goes to prison forever, right? So you can see what people are ruled by and how things can go in their life. Like, is if you know what's ruling you, let's say it's your eating habits, let's say that thing will never go away until you evolve, right? So for some people, it's even women, right? They're just horrible woman after horrible woman after horrible shit like that. And it's like, sorry to tell you, but you're a piece of shit. If all the women you're around are shitty, it means you're a piece of shit. Have some, take some accountability for that. And a lot of people don't realize that it's like, dude, it's always going to be like, for example, let's say you hate Arab people. Like, if Zerka actually hated Arab people, how would you find out if Zerka actually hates them? Zerka marries an Arab woman. There. That's how it works. Like, if you truly hate something, you'll be paired up with it. It's like a cosmic joke that's what it's like an angelic thing, that it's like, okay, you have to learn love from a closer angle from it, right? Or like the Jews acting all crazy, and then the Christ incarnates as a Jewish man. And so that's why I tell people, be careful. When I say politics is gesture, I mean, you could talk about hating black people all day. There's a lot of you guys who do that, and no influencer is going to tell you this, but you are going to attract a lot of black people in your life to learn that lesson. And, for me, it's like, I don't really want to attract black people. I want to attract, whatever is normal in my matrix in my city. I don't want to. I don't want to have more blacks just for the sake of me learning a lesson. So I'm not racist to blacks. That's really that simple. The more fear, the more energy you have. Like, for example, Nick Fuentes, he's a smart guy. he has the same problems as me with, a lot of black guys tripping out, and his whole career is to say, hey guys, you're doing black shit in Chicago and black guys are wilding. And then Nick is paired with Kanye, so it's a blessing and a curse, because it's like also they give him the most black guy ever, like the most crazy, hey, I gave my cousin head, it kind of also gets wild too, but it's a karmic lesson. Or let's say Zherka has problems with certain types of women, he's going to be around a lot of hoes. Those kinds of women that piss him off, he's always around them. It's a karmic thing. You're going to find that every single soul is dealing with their contradictions all the time, nonstop. And that's why Zerka shits on women and they keep chasing him and want to be with him. Right? That's why that thing happens there, because those women, they have problems with men like me, and they're attracted to that as a karmic thing. It's not for marriage. Like people love to drill into your head, oh, it's because they actually genuinely want to get married. And no, they have things to work on. It's not actually, a lot of people say it's just because the red pill guy can get all the women because they're blue pill and they secretly want a red pill guy. It's like not all are like that, bro. Some of them actually get with more nerdy, good-looking guy. There's a lot of these nerdy, good-looking guys who go under the radar. Like no one talks about them. Like what the? You just look into that. So, or like everyone who says, "Oh, she secretly wants a caveman." No, not all of them. You fucking not all of them want the caveman. Real, even the ones who like the K-pop guys and shit like that. I would say that let's say they're attracted to K-pop singers, right? Korean pop singers. She would still be, they'd still be mostly attracted to the most caveman of those singers. So, for example, the one that speaks the most red pill, that's human nature. That's fine. But to say that they just want the Hulk Hogan, they don't actually want the K-pop guys, just cope. Like an Asian girl doesn't want Hulk Hogan, you fucking idiot. Maybe they could all cope. Maybe there's an argument there. But if you start seeing things as there are dualities and opposites, and how they grind into a new synthesis, like on some Hegel shit, you start realizing there's like, oh, so that black guy making Nick look bad, Kanye just screaming, I gave my cousin head, I gave my cousin. That's not to make Nick look bad, but it's more like, because his show's all about, let's say, 1 month of Chicago black guys, or the Zerka is talking about Chicago black guys, let's say, and let's say I do 30 episodes in a row, you guys are going to be like, oh, Zerka's doing content with black guys now. It's like the Matrix is designed for you to develop love with what you're really contradicted against. It's designed for that in every single way possible. And a lot of people don't get that. That's why my dating program that I teach works, because it's bringing you that synthesis of, she thinks you're red pill, you think she's blue pill. There's synthesis there. That's why eh, that's why Jungian psychology is the only thing you should focus on in 2026, because you're going to see that you're not supposed to hate humans for their contradictions ever. That's not normal. You're supposed to accept their contradictions. That is to be a Christian, right? You're supposed to accept, oh, this guy could be very deep and he can run around with bitches. He's both. He's not one or the other. He's both, see it as a complex kind of soul. And you'll stop hating people when you go, I love Zerka and everything he talks about, and he runs around with bitches. I don't know how much I love that, but that's just Zerka. Once you start thinking like that, you stop hating the world. Once you start seeing your dad and your mom and your brothers as just souls with contradictions they're working through them, you get in the middle, and that's how the Christ sees everyone, sees all the contradictions and just accepts them. That is what you're on earth to do. And I thought it was like very obvious. Like I thought it was obvious because every streamer has something they talk about and then something that contradicts it. Right? Like Nick will talk about white identity and he'll be 25% Mexican, which doesn't really count, but they say it counts. And it's like that thing that everyone loves to mention, which is very stupid because his experience is of a white guy on earth. You should go by the experience too, right? Like what, how are people seeing you in the Matrix? Is like, do they see you as a it's kind of like when people say, Zerka, how do you know if someone's white? I'm like, you'll know someone's white if white women are attracted to them. That's like rule number one. First of all, if you look at studies, it's not what you've been told on Twitter. It's like people mainly stick to their races, bro. Like look at the studies. Um, but yeah, when you see humans filled with contradictions, the world is fun. And if you watch, let's say Hassan Piker is a loving channel. He likes to portray himself as like inclusive, but he abuses a dog and whatever the fuck. Everyone, every YouTuber you watch, Logan Paul is like a loving channel that like goes to Tokyo. And every channel, or you know what I mean? Like Zherka's talking about Christianity, but there's a 16-year-old trying to date him on his lap, and it's all a big mess. There's contradictions so people get less sloppy with the way they move. For example, successful people get really sloppy with their incarnations. Have you ever noticed that? Like the Logan Paul Forrest thing. It's really easy to get inflated ego consciousness and say, oh, you know, I'm doing everything right. And, you know, I'm just going to do things however I want. But it's all like learning lessons, and these learning lessons humble the soul extremely, where when you start seeing every human on earth as just like a parody, a cartoon of contradictions, and the cartoon's meant to be enjoyed. You know, that's why a lot of like white identity channels have Asian wives. And I've always maintained that that's really weird. You know, like a lot of guys who are all for making America white have an Asian wife. Have you ever noticed that on Twitter? And like there's always something in the closet like that. Have you ever noticed that? And it's like you just have to love humans, because the things that they talk about the most, they love the most, they're contradicting the most. And they're not meant to run away from the contradictions. They're meant to embrace them. Because you know, you can get bored of your contradictions. Zerka can get bored of bitches. It happens. It happens. Zerka would not be into 3 days a week, 4 days a week of poetry and philosophy if he was actually into bitches. He would just run around, you know, you'd run around for that. But if he has time, so much time for poetry and philosophy, if he has so much extra time for this kind of stuff and he needs it to feed his soul, it shows he's really bored of the bitches. That's a healthy motion. Would he have been bored of the bitches if he suppressed it? Fuck no. He walked towards it, right? Now, a lot of people are like, what happens if you walk towards a desire and it starts dog walking you? That's not that's addiction, dude. That's something completely different. If you're addicted to something, then you know, whatever that is, you know, it's linked to your trauma, you're fucked. You know, if you're addicted to something, you are screwed. I think it was Tate talking about something about cigarette addiction. Dude, if you are addicted to anything, figure that out first, man, because that is fucking horrible. It's like, for example, if you're addicted to doing drugs all the time, you're really telling the world that there is a la la land in your mind you're going to that is better than reality. Now, are you wrong about that? No, because you're actually ditching the world for that land. Is it genuine spirituality there? Yeah, it is, right? You're using your spiritual powers to go there. It's just you're using drugs to get to those spiritual powers because you don't have the inner effort yet. You don't have the discipline, you don't have the years behind it, you don't have enough self-remembering to back you up. That's why a lot of people who do drug channels ruin their lives and others pop off into like some rock star lifestyle. What's the difference? It's, you know, who's more conscious. If you're unconscious, that what does unconscious really mean? It means you're addicted. You know, you're in la la land and you don't understand the polarity of cold and hot, of, you know, satanic and luciferic forces, that you're not supposed to be one-sided ever. And a lot of my best students, they're like, you know, the greatest thing about your teaching, Zerka, is that I can do drugs sometimes with my buddies. Like I've got a lot of people who go to business guys who go to festivals, and they're like, I look forward to doing drugs with my buddies. I'm like, what the fuck are you giving? Why are you blaming me for your whatever you want to go to drug land in your head? And they're like, no, no, it's just I've always been a kind of guy that I don't do drugs because it'll ruin my life. But you know, listening to you, I can indulge here and there. And these guys never really ruin their lives, to tell you the truth. It's like there are humans who can just dabble and get out of it, right? The only difference is they're conscious. They literally tell themselves, after this festival, I have other things to do. I'm not suppressing, I have other things to do. That's an adult. An adult can have every experience on earth and walk away from them. A child is addicted and obsessed with just staying on Neverland forever and never growing up. And it's like, I've never done that, you know? Like, I don't even remember. I'm like the most liberal guy when it comes to drugs. I'll try it all. But I don't remember ever doing it twice or three times. You know, it's more like an experiment of where to go in consciousness. I want to try every angle of consciousness, which is weird. You'll only know sobriety dominates all of the states if you've actually ventured off and had, you know, my favorite types of people, they venture off and become alcoholics for a bit. They get into drinking and then they drop it and they never try anything else because they go, oh, well, they're all going to be kind of like that, which is so cool. Imagine if you told yourself every kind of state of consciousness is going to be like drinking. I'm not really in control, but things are happening like this. And that's so cool that, you know, some people learn it with just alcohol. Then you have the more American kind of souls. Like an American kind of soul is like a Wolf of Wall Street soul, where it's like, actually, I have to try all the drugs, all the drugs, all the drugs. And what do you tell those people? A lot of them die, you know, a lot of them fuck themselves up. But do you tell them, no, you cannot? Well, that makes them want to do it more. You know what I mean? But when you find a human that's in the middle of himself, he usually says, you know, it's really hard to be addicted because it's just an experience I'm going through. It's like, yeah, 100%. You don't have to go full Connor Murphy on it, bro. Now, how do you help someone in their life if they're asking you for experience? You don't. You know, like, could this Zherka really teach a 21-year-old Zherka? Fuck no, he couldn't. Like a 21-year-old Zherka would be like, you're motivating me to do more Trenbolone. That's what I swear to God, even if I told him that's not the path, he'd say, not for you, but for me it is. And so it's the name of the game. And when you find out that's what religion is, real, genuine religion is explore everything. And then you come back all scarred on your prodigal journey. Holy shit, when you find out you have that levels of freedom, you will never want to do drugs again. You'll be like, well, if I have freedom to do whatever I want and still be a part of the Christian faith, then how about I don't do that stuff and I just get out, you know, get moving with my evolution. It's like, yeah, that's the best place to be in. How are you ever going to learn that in modern religious frameworks? You will never meet a priest who looks you in your eyes and says it's about free will. You know, step one is self mastery, and you know that comes with, you know, that starts with freedom. You will never meet a priest who looks you in the eyes and says, "Go do cocaine at that festival," right? But again, priests are talking to you from a 55-year-old incarnation. So I always maintain that the biggest losers, the dumbest people on earth, will be at 55, giving you a 55-year-old perspective to a 21-year-old kid, right? The smartest people, right? The best mentors will always talk to a 21-year-old like they are 21 themselves. So they know what impulses, what archetypes are pushing through them, right? So that's why when a 21-year-old says to me, hey, I make this much money, but I have a drinking thing. And I go, you know, even though I didn't really, you know, I've had a drinking phase, but I think I just skipped it for drugs. I mean, drugs are so much more fun than drinking. Let's be real. Like drugs, you fight dragons and shit. Drugs, you can break into schizophrenia. Drugs is like, drugs is so much more. Drugs is the only thing in the world where you can die, but no one on earth knows you died. So, like, you could, let's say you do some nasty ass drugs and you break your mind and no one knows you broke it. And you know you broke it just enough to where it's like, hide this from the world because they'll put me in a nut house. I went too far. So, to me, that's always been the enticing part. The most exciting part is that you can die without no one actually knowing it, right? And with the alcohol, it's kind of like you're dying with the, you know, being a conformity channel where you're just conforming. How many new kick streamers are like drinkers and they look like, right? You know, Clav is interesting because he's on fucking meth. And there's something interesting about watching, you know, I don't want him to be on that, but there's something interesting about a kid taking it further than a Zherka channel. I always found that interesting. I'm like, you know, because everyone's like you're there. You're not going to see a more extreme channel than Zherka's, and it's like when he's active, he's active. No, dude, I never did meth. I've never done meth. What do you? I would not do meth today. Are you kidding me? I've been around it, even I seen it through a glass pipe by a buddy of mine driving a caravan, Dodge Caravan, and I remember looking at him and I'm like, yeah, this is totally not my incarnation. Like I'm all for being the most degenerate of the American energy channels, but this feels like Hunter Biden territory. And there's like I have an ego thing about like being higher status than people. For me, meth, crack, and heroin, I don't care if it's prescribed. These are low levels of class. It's just unattractive, not cool, very, very weirdo behavior, you know? And to see someone break through that, and Clav said, "Fuck it." This is, he said, Clav is, he's just, he reminds me of me so much. I was like, he said recently, it was so sad, but he said, I'm so introverted and so not a talkative person that I do meth to talk to people. And I'm like, that is just the most relatable. I still remember working at a nightclub and I'm like, dude, I don't want to talk to people to make money. And my buddy's like, well, if you put this white substance in your nose, you're going to be able to talk to them. And I'm like, no, there's no way. I've seen a lot of people do that stuff and they still remain quiet. They get fidgety. And they're like, yeah, but they don't have that thing, bro. You're funny, Zherka. You're funny. And I'm like, all right, I try this shit. And I try it. And I was like, okay, I step away from it. Then I went through a really dark depression. I lost someone close to me in my life. And then I loved numbing my face. I was, the idea that you can numb your soul, that's so fucking cool. You can numb your heart. Yeah, you're going to feel the pain, but you can postpone the pain of your soul transforming. You can postpone that for later. That's so cool. And it's not really working. I keep drifting off into thoughts of this person that I loved and I lost in my life. Now I'm drifting with the drug. The drug's not working. I don't think it's working. I'm gonna do more. Oh, it's still not working. I'm gonna get into fights. I'm gonna do whatever I can to forget my problems. Dude, that shit goes so quick. You start fucking losing yourself. And in a weird way, nobody would slow me down because they'd be like, he's really intelligent. He meditates. He does this. He has so many formulas of staying healthy when he's not doing crazy amounts of drugs. It's like, and I always felt that too. I'm like, I have so many systems of keeping myself sane. There's no way you can go insane doing this. Bro, when you see how many years you spend pissing away, like, dude, years and years you can piss away, you start to really feel bad for someone like Clav. That it's like, you know, how the fuck can he make stream? How the fuck do you even make streaming fun without the drugs? Like, let's be real. Destiny only streams that many hours because of Adderall and amphetamines, right? XQC only does that many hours because of his Adderall addiction. I think he takes like 3 orange 35s a day spread out, which is disgusting if you think about it. And Varys, you are who I worry about, that you're getting into the streaming thing and you're going to be in an energy where it's like, the cameras are boring. I'm going to start doing drugs. And I'm worried about that, bro. I don't want you to go down that path because, like, what did I see a clip of you saying something like you want to be an airplane pilot? That's so fucking badass. I can't imagine a more
Yo,
badass. Varys, I can't imagine a more badass incarnation than if you became a fucking pilot, like a badass with the aviators and all that shit. That's
I study
don't
aerospace,
let.
bro. I want to make the planes.
Well, then why do this social media thing that's going to give you a bad resume for that?
I mean, honestly, bro. I mean, I'm not gonna speak on it, but I'll have a job no matter what, bro.
What the fuck does that mean? That sounds like some. That sounds like you've already got the job right now.
Kinda. But
And so what's what's with you and Androgenic? You guys are friends now. I thought you guys hate each other.
nah. I fucking hate him, bro. I mocked him though. You seen that shit?
I watched the clips and I'm like, are we supposed to believe the clips? Like one clip said you got jumped, but I don't believe that. Did you actually get jumped?
Nah, I did get jumped, but it was like 2 days ago. But they didn't do shit. They just kind of
So
like
it's
pressed the
not
button.
just clickbait, it's real?
Yeah, I went
Bro,
to
they
a
were
frat
eating
house,
pizza
a
together,
ZBT
bro.
frat
Like,
house.
chill. What the fuck?
Oh,
I
they
mean,
actually jumped you these.
yeah, they fucking jumped me. But it wasn't like they didn't throw any punches. It's just like I brought a bunch of bitches to their house, and then they were salty. The bitches were taking pictures with me, and they were kissing me and shit. And then they just like tried to press me out the house.
Isn't that how it always goes? It's not even if you have clout. It's like if the
Well, I
chicks
mean,
are around the one dude.
it's just insecure men, bro. Like if you get no hoes, like obviously they're gonna be insecure and try and kick out the fucking star of attention, bro. It's like you know what I mean?
Yeah, and I saw the. I remember I'm like, okay, we for sure I support another Albanian, but one thing that blew me away, where I really said, "Yo, everyone has to support this kid." I don't even know if it's real, but it's your before and after photos. Were you actually that fat?
Yeah, I was 270 at 17.
How? What the fuck were you eating?
Too much burek.
But you were that fat with that, like your genetics look so fucking garbage. You'd think this guy'd never make it. And you don't have any like loose skin issues or anything, but you came down
Well,
quick, right?
yeah, I mean, I kind of have some loose skin on my lower belly, but I mean, I'm just trying to
Really?
build it with abs. Yeah.
So the reason why I baited you into leaking if you have loose skin is to find out if you use peptides, and now I know you did.
No, I'm natural, bro.
No, you're
Always
not. You
happy,
came
right?
down
I'm
too
natty,
quick,
bro.
Always
bro.
talking
How do
I'm
you
about
have
it.
natty.
loose skin? You came down too
Bro,
Always
I
quick,
came
talking
bro.
down
about
too
it.
quick because I worked my ass off
You,
every single fucking day, bro. Every single
bro,
fucking
come
day.
on. You're not on anything.
I promise. I worked my ass off every single day. I was in the gym.
But you got. I could imagine you being more natural because it's not like the traps are up, but you do have the cap delts. You have the cap
It's
delts, bro.
genetics, bro. I'm Gag Albanian, bro. I'm Northern
No, we
Albanian.
saw your genetics are 270 fat, bro. You're on
Bro,
Reddit You're on what else are you on?
look at my fucking like I still had the clavicles, bro. I still had the frame even when I was fat. I was just fat.
What was your diet like?
When I was cutting,
Yeah.
just eggs and steak, I swear. Just eggs and steak. I didn't eat any carbs. I completely cut out the carbs.
And what did you didn't rebound? You didn't get you turn into a fat ass at all. That kind of shows that you're using something. There's no rebound.
What do you mean? No, there was a rebound. I got fat again when I started
What about
working out.
Ozempic, Reddit any of that?
No, Ozempic makes you blind, bro. I'm not injecting snake venom into my fucking belly, bro.
I thought that was a meme. Didn't someone say that's a meme?
No, fucking Ozempic is snake venom, bro. Like, I'm not. That shit can
Is
make you
it
go blind.
really? What do you? Send me the clip? I saw some doctor talking about that, and the comments were saying, "No, you're wrong and shit." But hold on. So you're telling me you took no peptides, no nothing?
No, I'm natural,
Well,
completely.
then you got good genetics, bro. Do you got any brothers or sisters like you that are jacked as fuck?
No, I don't, bro. They're all
It
babies, bro.
is
They don't lift.
how fast did you go from 270?
It took me a year to go from 270 to 180.
How much do you weigh right now?
Right now,
180?
no, right now I'm 217. But it took me a year to go from 270 to 180. I got
How
really
are you
skinny.
270? How tall are you?
Like 6'3".
No, you're not. Get the
Yes,
fuck
I
out of here. You're
swear I
not
am.
217, bro. No, you're not,
I'm
bro.
217 right now. I can hop on the scale and send you a video later. I'm 217.
What is it? Well, aren't you shorter than Clav?
Me, no. Clav was wearing hype boosters, bro. They all wear fucking hype boosters and shit. Like, you know
Okay,
this, bro. They all
I feel like
frauds.
aren't you? I thought you were the shorter one, Androgenics, the taller one.
Oh no, I was shorter. I mean, I don't care though. Androgenic has
You're
boots
not
on.
6'3", bro.
Androgenic has
You're not
boots on
6'3",
with
come
hype
on.
boosters. Clav has hype boosters in his shoe. They all fucking fraud, bro. I just hit the gym. I'm not a looks maxer, bro. Like
Yeah,
I'm a
no,
normal
it
ass dude,
hurt when I
bro.
was like,
Like,
bro, when I saw an Albanian on the scene, I'm like, dude,
yeah. I mean,
because check this out. I was rooting for Androgenic to win.
that's fake, bro.
He was my guy.
That's
He said
fake.
something about
That's fake.
taking. No, bro, that's before I saw the flag. Now that I saw the flag, I'm with you, bro.
I'm
Okay,
100%
what did
Northern
Nick say?
Albanian.
You're a Muslim
Yeah,
Albanian,
he
huh?
called me a brown Slav. Like, yeah, I'm Muslim Albanian.
But you know why he does that? The reason why Nick keeps all the Balkan people away from his movement, it's actually really smart. It's because he doesn't want Orthodox people bleeding into the Catholic movement because the Orthodox were conquered by Muslims. So it's like a huge, it's a perfect argument, really. And And bro, that broke my heart when you guys were arguing. I'm like, damn, that sucks, man.
Bro, I thought he just be
I
goofy
mean,
that shit.
it's just like anyone that just starts arguing about my name just instantly just gets like 3 million views. You know what I mean? So it's like,
Yeah.
I mean, I understand why.
Yeah. What was that? You were on TikTok? You had like 150,000 followers on TikTok
Yeah, before I blew up, I had like 150K.
for fitness shit?
Yeah, just gymming. Me and my boys just hit
Okay.
the gym out here.
I think you hit the jackpot because you went viral for more of the streamer thing. Because if you, let's say you remain viral just for fitness, you would never make money ever. And now you've got the streaming door open for you. There's a lot of money in streaming. Like, this is fun.
Yeah, I mean, streaming's fun. I heard you talking about taking drugs and shit while streaming, but I mean, I honestly
Yeah,
think
that's I saw that clip of Clav. He said that he takes drugs to talk to people, and I'm like, dude, that is so. Who the fuck wants to stream sober? Like, that shit's
I
hard
mean,
as
I do
fuck.
stream sober, but the thing is, like, even like anyone that knows, like, even at ASU, like, I never drink. I just have fun on my own, bro. I'm just high on life. I don't take any kind of drugs to have fun, bro.
See, you could be a huge success story because, bro, if you don't drink and you enjoy being in front of the camera, just like chilling.
Well, I mean, I just kind of like I do the same shit every day. I just stream what I do. Like, I go hang out with bitches at night. I go party with the boys. Like it's just shit that I do.
You know what I would do if I were you? I would just get on a massive cycle and just go bald and jacked. Like,
Yeah, I know, bro.
bro,
But my parents don't like that shit. That's completely why. I'm gonna be honest with you.
are
I
you
like
from? You're from Arizona, right?
I was born in Detroit.
D-Town, what the hell? You're a bro. It's a Detroit Albanian. What the fuck?
Yeah, I was
Bro.
born in Detroit. But no,
You
my
know what?
mom's strict. She's old school Albanian, bro. So it's like
Yeah, yeah.
they don't really like anything, I'm gonna be honest.
I'll tell you this, they probably hate the streaming thing, right?
Yeah, they probably do, but
Bro, they hate it for me too. They're like, all you do is run around with bitches. I'm like, bro, this is our blood. This is what we incarnate to do as Albanians. Like, what the hell? But I was going to ask you, like, how do you not see in the future you getting cucked by doing this kind of content? Like, imagine doing a airplane interview for like some airline and they say, dude, you're like running around on social media with clavicular and like we don't want you as an airplane. Aren't you worried about that?
well, I don't know. I'm not working with Clav anymore. I mean, it was just like the only reason why I blew up in the good light was because like I mogged him. Like I literally preached on a stream about not doing drugs, not drinking. Said that shit makes you fat, makes you a loser. And
Yeah.
like I mean, I really said nothing bad, so there's nothing they can really say.
Yeah, because I feel like you've collabed with enough people and none of them told you to guard that. You're supposed to say on every stream you're sober. And because it's so easy to be like, yo, this guy's got sunglasses on. This guy's doing drugs, bro. It's so easy to go that way.
I know, but that's just like my style, bro. Like I wear jeans in the gym. I wear sunglasses in the gym. I was doing this shit before I even met them.
That's crazy. And were you making money on TikTok?
Yeah, I was. I was still making money and through clothing and I do have a peptide deal.
There you go, Chad. There you go. I'm too good at this shit.
Hey, that's
I'm
chill.
way
That's
too.
chill though. That's
Yeah.
chill. I was training. I was training.
Yeah. What's the deal? What's it look like?
Nah, I can't say, bro. I can't leak the deal on live, bro.
Yeah.
That's all
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. Well, we'll see if you start losing hair, we'll be like, this guy's saucing hard.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
think,
there's a lot of shit you can tell if a guy's saucing.
yeah, I feel like, but you don't have a natural look, do you? You have a more cosmetic look, a more social media look.
I just train for aesthetics, bro. That's all I do. I don't really train for like the monkey
Yeah,
physique.
I saw that clip of you saying, I don't want to grow my traps because it's not aesthetic. And I'm like, bro, there's nothing gayer than a physique without traps. Like, you want traps, bro. What are you talking
Bro,
about? You don't want an NFL player look?
no, bro. I want an aesthetic fucking Greek god look. That's what I want, bro.
But think of Z's. He had good traps.
I mean, yeah, but like he didn't train traps, but like when you're blasting, you build the traps no matter what. Your
Yeah,
androgen.
it's all the androgen receptors right there just exploding. I saw androgenic. He looked huge, bro. He looked like, how tall is he?
He's like 6'5".
Yeah, and it's funny. Everyone makes fun of him, but his clips are all fake. They're like trolling. Like, people don't realize he's trolling the public back. He doesn't. People don't get that. They think that the wig and all that is like real. It's like he's had many clips of him showing that he wears a wig, right?
Yeah,
Is
it's
I
true.
don't. I feel like that. I've never met an Australian I don't like, and yeah, I just feel like Andrew Janik's a cool guy. But man, the internet loves to attack that guy. Like, what the fuck is that about?
Yeah, I know. I don't
I
know.
feel
They
like
just hate on him. But
you got this wave of love I've never seen by the. It started off as a meme, but you got just everyone riding your dick. I was like, what? Why? Just because he's like a little fit? But dude, they loved you. And then I saw the Albanian flag, and I'm like, oh, they did this to me. They love our people, bro.
yeah, I know. Just take the kindness pill, bro. Just be nice.
That we can't say things like that here, okay? We cannot say gay shit like that.
I'm being true though.
So.
Like it's like, bro, like be just nice to everyone. Like
I saw Sneeko talk to you. What did he talk to you about?
Sadiko wanted to do a Europe trip with me, but I asked my parents and they said no. So
What? How old are you?
19.
That's so crazy. You asked your parents and they said no, they don't trust Sneeko.
Well, they don't. It's not that they don't trust them. It's just like they just don't want me going out because like they just worry. So I mean,
Yeah, yeah. If you could do the social media thing without destroying yourself, bro, you'd make so much money, bro. You like how much are you making right now?
bro, why are you asking these federal questions, bro? Just know
Because I
money's
want
good.
to know if you're gonna.
Money's good.
I want to know if
Money's good.
because every time someone says they want to become an airplane pilot, but they have something else going on, they usually give up on the first dream, right? That's what they
No,
do.
well, I mean, the only reason why my parents came to the United States is so like I could be successful in life, and it's like, I mean, they struggled raising me, so I mean, like, I owe it to them to get my degree. At
And
least
who?
they told me at least get your degree. So
And you're not even from ASU, are you?
no, I go to ASU.
Oh, you're okay, but you're not in a frat, right?
No, I am in a frat.
Oh, so you're actually the meme. What the fuck?
Yeah, I'm in
That's
Pike.
okay. And so did your buddy say, "Hey, Clav is here. All you got to do is stand next to him and you're going to blow up?"
No, like he just came to the house and like if you watch the clip, I just like, yo, can we get a picture, bro? And then we got a picture and then it blew up. So I was like, oh shit.
And then there was that clip of he took your bitch from you. Was it one of those clips?
Uh, uh, well, yeah, it
There
was
was a
like his
bitch at
girl.
the house. There was a
Yeah,
bitch
she
at the
was just
house.
looking.
And
Like I was in the back standing, and then she was just looking and smiling.
that's crazy, bro. And what are you guys like? You guys are not friends anymore?
Well, I mean, he's cool and all, but I mean, like off stream, if you want to talk about it, I'll let you know, like, kind of what happened. But
Oh shit! No, 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 bro. Bring the drama here, bro. Tell us what
nah,
happened.
bro, I can't, bro. I can't. Like, he's
Nah,
cool.
nah.
He's cool,
Clav's
but
my favorite dude, bro. He's the best guy ever, bro. Like, I feel like Clav is spiritually an Albanian guy. Because if you ask Albanian people, do they care about degrees, money? Bro, Albanian people only care about looks. Like, for the first 20 years of their life, they're obsessed with looks.
my
You
dad
could,
was a looks maxer. Like,
there you
he's
go,
doing
bro.
that shit before looks maxing.
Bro, you don't know how many Albanians will marry a psychopath that stabbed them with a knife just because she looks good. It's fucking ridiculous, man.
No,
Like,
Albanian girls are hot.
yeah, yeah. Do you visit back home?
Yeah, I go every summer for 3 months.
Yeah, yeah. It's weird because it's like now that you have clout and you go to Miami and shit, Europe's gonna be boring to you, bro. I'm telling you, you're
I
gonna
mean,
get bored.
can you hear me?
Yeah, say again.
Yo,
Go
I
ahead.
said I had fun though. Like I still had fun, bro. I was going to the beaches, like I was going to the nightclubs. Like it's still fun. It's just like I'm not gonna lie. If you're going to like fuck bitches, like it's not gonna happen in Albania, bro. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, yeah. And you can't get Reddit there.
You can always find a way. You can always find a way to get some shit, bro. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, yeah. No, it is interesting because it's like, bro, I've seen many people pop off, and you popped off for literally nothing. Like, what did you just stood there, right?
Yeah, I just stood there and then took a picture, bro.
That's gotta make you cocky compared to your friends and peers who, like, your friends are nothing compared to you. They're like human scum.
Nah, nah, bro. I don't think with this like superiority complex, bro. Like
Yeah. What did you think of Sneeko? Were you thinking, like, why is this black guy talking to me? Like, why
Sneako's
is
sick.
this
Well, like
Zazaf talking to me?
I heard you and Sneako are beefing, but like I mean, he was nice to me, so it's like I can't really say anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they're trying to claim you as like a Muslim Aryan Chad, right?
Muslim Aryan Chad, respect.
Yeah, yeah. Which is, it's funny for you and me. We've been around so many Albanians our whole life. You don't know, like we're used to this. There's so many of them that have blonde hair, blue eyes. Like this is like a normal thing back home.
Yeah, it's true. Everyone just copes, and it's all the fucking Serbian haters that can suck my fucking dick. Number one, all
Exactly.
these
Exactly.
fucking
Oh, this guy's so big.
Chetniks,
Exactly.
Shki, they can all hold my fucking nuts. Fuck those motherfuckers.
And in a weird way, I feel bad for the Serbs because they don't have famous people in Hollywood. They don't have.
No, I didn't. I just got here. Yep.
Who's that,
Some girl just got in an accident and asked me if I
bro? Pick
saw
her up.
something.
What are you doing? You gotta pick her up.
No, bro. I'm done with the hoes, bro. I've been hanging out with so many bitches. I just need. I'm going home today. I'm gonna chill with my parents. Like I'm done. I need a
Right, but
day to chill.
bro, you gotta give us a Jack Doherty collab. We want to see you with Jack
Bro,
Doherty.
I asked him to fight for bread wrist. He said no.
He wouldn't fight. What the fuck,
He doesn't want to fight. I
dude?
asked him.
Go,
I said, do the brand risk. I literally don't know who to fight for brand risk. I asked Andrew Janik.
dude.
I
I'm
can't
gonna tell
fight
you the
these
truth,
girls.
bro. I'm gonna tell you the truth. I guarantee you're getting snaked for that deal. They're not paying you enough. Brand
Trust me,
risk
bro. This
pays
dude
very
Hoopify,
little.
this motherfucker Hoopervi or Hooperville, whatever the fuck he works for overtime. They were trying to broadcast the whole Mogoff scene, and I was like, pay me 5 fucking bands and I'll do it.
For
Said
5K is nothing, bro. What are you
and
talking?
they
You're like
declined
the
the five
biggest.
bands. They declined the 5 bands, and then they went online and they were like, "Yeah, he asked me for 5 bands, didn't do the collab." These motherfuckers are trying to Jew me out. What the fuck? Oh
Well,
hell
how
no.
much are you? How much are you gonna fight for on brand risk,
I can't say because I'm working some shit with Aiden Ross, but
bro? If it's anything under $50,000, you're getting screwed,
bro,
bro.
you're talking small numbers with the 50K, G. Trust me,
Yeah,
G. I know.
please tell me you're not getting screwed because, dude, I felt like every brand risk guy, they don't even pop off after that promotion. It's like a garbage promotion.
I know, but the fucking Albanian Aryan knocks out someone. Oh my god, I'm gonna make headlines for the next year, bro.
Yeah, and what's weird is you know exactly what to do. You're like, the kind of content you want to do. You're doing some desktop streams. What did you have it in your head that one day you're gonna do this, or you just copy pasting what Clav and them are doing?
Well, my boys like always told me they're like, bro, the second a camera goes on you, you're gonna pop off. Like my whole life, they've always been telling me it. I was like, nah,
Yeah,
nah.
because you had a TikTok following. That's why they said that.
Well, they just know my personality, and it's like they were like, dude, the second you get a camera on you for a day, you're gonna fucking blow up. Cause I don't know, I kind of do lit shit every single day. So
That's good. That's crazy, bro. You do lit shit every day, bro. When I was your age, I didn't have peptides. I had steroids, so it was a little different. Say no, bro. You're supposed to say no.
you gotta run a little bit primo, a little bit test. You gotta run some bar with the clenbuterol.
No, do you know what I like about your generation is I can see you guys are hair conscious. You guys want to preserve your hair. You're not going to do the
No,
stupid
bro,
shit.
I'm not going bald, bro. That's the last thing I want, bro. I'm not going bald.
Yeah,
You
what do you
get
guys
most
call it?
bitches,
You guys say hair is life, right?
bro. The girls now, like in my generation, if you're bald, you're getting no play, unless you're
Yeah,
fucking, unless you're juiced up Chad. But
yeah, yeah. I do feel. I was gonna say I do feel bad for the Serbs because they don't have Hollywood people. There's so many Albanians in Hollywood. They don't have
they're
singers. They don't
jealous,
have.
bro.
We have so many in Hollywood singers, movie
Isn't
actors.
the guy who made Hollywood Albanian?
Holy shit! You sound like my dad right now.
What's his name? Rob Bellucci. What's his name?
Really?
Yeah, isn't the guy who made Hollywood Albanian? I swear.
That would be so. Yo, chat, find me that. That
What's
would
his
be so
name?
cool.
Rob Bellucci.
Damn, damn, that is crazy. But you look at these Serbian guys, and I love Bosnians, but you look at a lot of Bosnian guys, they don't have famous people. Like only Albanians have famous incarnations. Have you noticed that?
No, I didn't
Dude, I want to be the first. I
notice
want to
it.
be the first famous Bosnian. How the fuck do I do it?
I swear to God, the number one rule is you have to be taking a risk. Like Varys doesn't want to admit his risks, but there's a lot of people like Clav took risks. Nick Fuentes took risks. There's every Sneeko took risks. Humans who take risks, the public loves watching those people. They're like, holy shit, this guy could die on camera, right? Not that you should always like Varys. I don't want to see you getting into street brawls.
Well, I'm
That's
smart
crazy,
now
bro.
because my cousin, my Albanian cousin, he's my first cousin. Like he's a straight thug. Like this motherfucker is a thug that moves dope. He doesn't give a fuck. Like he doesn't give a fuck. He's licensed to carry. This motherfucker can fight. Like he's just a straight YN Albanian. So I have him as
Yeah,
security
that's
now. Like just in case. Like all I know is like he's ready to die behind me. That's what I need.
that's a horrible idea. That is the worst fucking.
He's ready to die behind me, and I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that. So
Yeah,
I
no,
know I'm safe. I got family next to me, so I'm chilling.
that's crazy, bro. You need to just focus on the alcohol. You can do this shit.
Yeah, I know I can't do this shit. I'm trying, bro. I've been trying.
Yeah. I mean, the content for you would be we want to see girl content. The girl content goes
Tap
crazy.
into my streams, bro. I got bitches in the hot tub every night.
Bro, how weird would it be someone my age actually watching not clips but streams, bro? That's some freak shit, bro.
If you try to
I
join, you
watch
can join on my
I
stream,
watch
bro.
the bro, I watch the clips and to be honest, I feel like I really want Androgenic to pop off too. Like I want him to be in America and you guys get a house together. You
Yeah, I
Androgenic.
told him he can move in with me if he wants to pursue his career. Because he's here. Well, he was gonna leave in 2 days, but his visa's for 3 months, and I was like, honestly, if you want to move in with me, because I'm not even home half of the time. I was like, honestly, bro,
Yeah.
you can just sleep at mine. Like, just
That would be awesome because you're gonna find collabs so hard to do. But you guys literally had the internet making clips about you. You didn't promote those channels. They're random channels making clips about you guys nonstop. And I felt so bad for you guys because I could tell you guys are not monetizing it. You're still new to all that. So I'm like, bro, you need to come out with you need to have shirts and hats and just go crazy on the money part of it.
yeah, I know, but you have to think of it like this. First, we
Like,
start off.
why has no one made a hat that says Mog?
I don't know. I kind of need to make my own stringer line. Like that would be fucking dope. If I had my own stringer line, I feel like that shit would pop off.
Yeah, yeah. And what's funny is everyone would buy it, but most guys are not under 10% body fat, so they just look like shit wearing it.
Hey, you can still rock a stringer, bro. You need to be like 10% under 10% body fat though.
Bro, I would be so mad if I meet you and you're like 5'5", bro. I'd be so
I'm 6'3",
disappointed. Like,
bro.
how
I'm fucking Malsor, bro. We're tall.
there's
Built.
no way you're 6'3" because Androgenic's taller than you.
Yeah, he's 6'5".
Oh shit, you're next. He's six. Oh, he's wearing his shoe things. Right, right, right. Right, right, right.
He
Yeah.
has the
Yo,
boots with 5-inch soles. Like, come on, bro. It's like,
right, right. Let me get Androgenic on my spaces tomorrow. I want to ask him some questions because he
yeah,
said
well,
he,
I'm gonna see him
bro,
tomorrow.
that guy is extreme. He said they asked him in chat in one of his comment sections. They asked him, "So what do you do for confidence after you've built yourself up externally? What do you do for inner confidence?" And he said, "Honestly, man, I did LSD." He's like, I
Bro,
did LSD, and I'm like, holy, that's like the worst advice you could give to like a 15-year-old who wants to ascend. Because now you have a teenager doing LSD to get confident. Like that's how people jump off bridges, and I'm like, this guy's way too extreme, man.
bro, that's what I noticed. So, like, everybody that's like high up is promoting drugs, and I'm just like, bro, like,
Yeah, yeah, no, I would never. I would, dude. I would talk about cocaine as a joke. I didn't actually promote it.
nah. I mean,
It
it's
was
chill,
kind
but it's like,
of.
bro, like, what the fuck, like.
Yeah, no, it's crazy, bro.
But
I
I
don't know
mean,
how
people
people
like
do
wild shit.
drugs. Yeah, no, let's get
That's why.
Tyson in here. Yeah. Go ahead, Tyson. You want to ask him a question, huh? Varys is the TikTok name, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. What's your real name? Do you give that out?
it's Varys.
Oh, really? Is that an Albanian name?
No, I don't have an Albanian name.
Okay, and both your parents are 100%, right?
Yeah, both my parents are 100% Albanian.
Nice. And you don't have siblings, eh?
No, I don't.
Right, right, right. And what year did you guys get there in U.S. in
My parents got
Detroit?
here. My parents got here in '99.
Oh, right from the war. Me too. Let's go.
Yeah.
Damn.
Detroit.
Okay, Tyson. Tyson, bro, don't you have beef with Looks Maxers? Like, let's hear it.
Bro, Varys egoed my podcast actually like 4 times in a row.
What a
Not gonna
fucking
lie.
guy.
I know, what a guy. No, I fuck
Well,
with that
it's
anti-drug
no
stuff.
hate.
Though. I fuck with that.
It's no hate. It's just like, bro, like everyone's trying to get me on a podcast, and it's like, bro, like hop on my podcast. You know what I mean? Type shit. Like like
Yeah,
hop on my stream, bro. Like not trying to be mean, but it's like, bro, everyone wants me. I'm like, bro, I'm trying to like boost up my own name, bro, not other people's. Like, sorry for being selfish, but like, it's like, bro, it's like at the end of the day, I'm in it for me, bro.
No, that's
You
fair. The
gotta be
only thing
hungry.
is though, like you I DM'd you on Instagram and you're like, yo, like bet, let's run that shit. And then it was like time to do it, and then you just like didn't respond.
I know,
Oh,
bro. I've been
Rodkari,
spamming that shit,
Varys. Oh, Rodkari, why'd you block me?
bro. Get this Jester
No,
out of here, bro.
What up, little
I'm
bitch? What
not
up?
talking to this fucking loser.
that guy's a jester, bro. Who is
That's
that?
some random fucking Northern Albanian that's just trying to get clout off of me, bro. Like I
Yeah,
blocked him.
bro. There are some Albanians on Twitter that are so cringe. You gotta avoid some of these guys, bro. Like they're a dick riders. They dick ride Sneeko. They dick ride. I'm like, bro, Sneeko ain't got nothing for you, little boy.
Nah, that yak guy's he's a boner, bro.
Yeah, this is, bro. We want to see you on a Sneeko stream. Okay, when are we gonna see that?
We need Sneeko stream.
Yeah, did he
I
invite you or?
he invited me to Bosnia to do a IRL streaming, but it's just like, bro, like I can't leave right now. I have to go to the Arnold because I'm gonna be
Right.
promoting my clothing brand out there. So I'm going to the Arnold. They bought my ticket and they bought where I'm staying at, and then me and my boys were just gonna make content at the Arnold, and then after that, I'm going back to IRL streaming.
Yeah. We want to see you compete, bro. When are you gonna get in a physique show?
I mean, when I'm ready to hop on the test and primo and fucking go all in,
bro,
Yeah.
we gotta see you on Fresh and Fit too. That'd be fire.
they hit me up.
Yeah, that'd be fire.
Yeah, that would be really good with the girls. And he's like a cool guy. He's smooth. He's not like he's shitting on them, right?
No, I'm not gonna be shitting on them. If they start talking shit though,
Bro,
we're
you
about
gotta
to
put one of them in a headlock. Since you're 18, you can get away with it.